I hear a lot of
I wasn't even rude. What did I say?
I didn't say you was rude, AG. I didn't say that. No, I didn't say
she
you
just said I was rude. But was I rude, Alex?
No, you weren't rude. You was just coming with energy tonight, and I hope you keep that.
Right. But what she say? I was rude. You can't even have a regular conversation, yo.
She was quoting me.
You mean you sound like you about to come? You said consequences and what's up?
Ooh, we started
right.
early.
So what I was saying was us trying to talk to y'all to get y'all to understand men, to get y'all to just see things from a different perspective or point of view. Y'all are not gonna see it, but the consequences will kick in. Right? Eventually they will kick in, and then you're gonna know. But that's the only way some people learn. So the consequences gonna have to teach y'all, no matter what Hamp say, no matter what everybody else say, right? Y'all will be like, oh, we admire y'all opinion, and yeah, we not talking about y'all, but when we say something, y'all don't even listen to understand us, right? And it's relevant it's evidenced by the way y'all respond to us. We can literally state a fact, but because of the emotions that it triggers in you, you automatically make it seem like wrong for stating something that a fact is not positive or negative. You know what I'm saying? But y'all will take that emotionally, and I got to do better. You know what I'm saying? I got to do better when it comes to communicating to my beautiful black women who I love, and we need y'all, yo. Go ahead and start the show here, man. Do your check-in, bro.
Well, I just want to say I appreciate for being paid for to be on the panel, and I'm grateful. I can't wait to interact with everyone.
Yo. Hey, that was a hell of a...
Yo, nigga came in shaking the tables before 9 p.m. shaking the tables in this joint.
Damn.
Hey, y'all.
I had to hit the play button.
Yo.
It was good. It was good. Chief, what up?
Yo, don't do that, yo. Don't tell me 9 o'clock and start at 8:57. I show up late and be like I'm the one late to the party. Like that ain't a good look, B. You know what I'm saying?
You're a coach, bro.
Come on, y'all.
If you're not over 5 minutes early, you're late.
Come on, y'all. Come with it.
You know that. How many times did I come to the field with a dress shirt on just so I wasn't late? I'll be playing football in a...
You played in the dress shirt. What you talking about?
Now look, Mary in the back chat, she was late. You see what happened? Now she got to rotate in and out and all that. Put her in the bathroom. Good, she eating anyway. No, she trying to act like she don't care. I'm eating. I don't give a fuck. That's how she's looking in the back.
You doing the Eddie eating?
Yeah, I hope her wig get loose a little bit.
Mary Kim.
Yo, Q was good. I missed you.
Ain't shit. I just woke up from a nap and shit. That's why I was late. But yeah, I'm good. Was good.
Did you brush?
Yeah. What?
You know your breath. I mean, nap. How long was the nap?
It was like 15 minutes. You getting too
personal. My fault. Love was good. Why you got a button down on this nigga's?
No, it's open.
Oh my God, look at her.
It's open.
Hey, Glenn, she's single too.
Listen, I got my tea ready. I ain't gonna be coughing, hacking up the lungs.
Glenn, don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm ready for tonight.
Yeah.
I came in, busted into the door with its 4 floors down the door. That's what's up. I just wanted to say hey.
You don't drink tea. Chef was good.
Coffee, all black.
Chief was good.
I'm good, man. How you doing? I'm straight. It's a good day today.
I'm doing good. I've been able to sleep a little bit and all that.
Your wife let you do that?
I'm in Texas. Let.
Trigger word. Let.
No doubt. That was very intentional.
The proper words.
I'm gonna be the bigger person a little bit. Bro, what up though? Welcome to Wednesdays. You straight?
Thank you for having me. I appreciate having me on the panel tonight.
All right, don't try to be diplomatic now. You in for it?
I was diplomatic in my comments. Just answering the question.
Man, that nigga ain't smiled yet, man. I ain't never.
So look at those shiny bright white. Come on,
Alex.
Hey, Hamp.
What up, though?
Not much. How are you tonight, Hamp?
I'm doing the right thing. You ain't not as shiny tonight. You ain't. What happened?
I mean,
You got that. You got that cheap. You got that cheap cocoa butter this time. That's the problem.
All the time.
Save a red cent. Sir Glenn Lamar was good, man. I don't got my sound effects, but I will give you a clap for your first time on the show. What up, though?
Man, I'm feeling good. I appreciate you having me on, man. You know, I hope I want to see who all of here get triggered for real, honestly.
That's your goal.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be a lot of triggering going on.
Okay. Devin, what up though?
Yeah.
You on mute? You're mute. He don't got no hands. He got the baby.
Come on, Adrian. We need the sound effects, B.
Put him in the bathroom.
What's good, fellas? What's good, everybody?
Nigga, don't hit me with the Barry White, nigga. What's good?
Chilling.
Word. Mr. White in the building. You already said enough, man. I think you already set the tone. You feel me? Yeah, if they don't get it, they won't get it, right?
Yeah, so I'm chilling, yo. Ro, I'm so glad you up here, yo. It's nice to have you. I super chatted to get you up here. You know what I'm saying?
I know. That's why I made sure I was on time.
Yo, that's what's up. B, what up? You all right? You on mute and shit, nigga.
Good afternoon. I mean, good evening. Good evening.
You just say hi, nigga. You don't gotta do too much. You don't know what time of day it is. You sick, nigga.
Hi.
Good evening.
What up,
oh, man?
How you doing? How you living?
I'm good, B.
What'd you say, Q? You
Why
good?
you do Q like that, man?
Fuck what you talking about. You always trying to play somebody. B, you good?
Thank you, Q.
Oh yeah, Q. That's your superhero, B.
I just said thank you, Q.
Jeez Louise, man. Pander much? Good gracious. All right, man. It's gonna be a good one, man. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to
it's a different energy tonight, bro. What's good?
Did you feel that, Chief? You feel that? It is.
Yo, nobody can save. Q ain't gonna be able to save nobody. AJ ain't gonna be able to save nobody. We having a conversation tonight. Point blank, period. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. We're streaming on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. We also got the podcast dropping every Monday at 5 a.m. for that ride to work on Anchor, Spotify, and Apple. Shout out to Alex for holding that shit down because I dropped the ball on it a while ago. Asia, what's in that tea?
Ginger, mint, lemon, and honey.
Word? No tequila, nothing like that?
Hell no. I'm not doing tequila tonight because that gets me in trouble. Nope. Sober.
All right, let me share something with you guys. 1 second. So I don't know exactly where this lands, but I think I have an idea. Hold on. There you go. All right. 1 second. Because I think I want to start off with this initial question. So, background on this right here. Have you guys seen this post with Ashanti?
Yes.
So, in this particular thumbnail, it says haters, exclamation point. Social users debate Ashanti's frequent vacationing being a fine 42 2-year-old with no kid and nobody want to marry you is not a flex. So, Real Family Concrete says being a fine 42-year-old with no kids and nobody want to marry you is not a flex. So if you look to the right, I don't know if you guys see my screen well. So I just commented on this post. So I said, men are telling the truth to women. Finally, she looks good, but she passed being the first pick to be wife. She aged out at this point, but she can get smashed for sure. So if you look at the stream, I got 14 replies, but it's probably it might be like 50 replies. I'm arguing with probably 15 different women. And you see the amount of likes I got on the actual what I said. But it could be likes, people laughing. Look how many laughed. 18. Somebody mad, somebody crying. And it was a couple cats who liked it on the low, but most of these niggas was pandering. What do you guys think about the Ashanti thing where she 42, she don't got no kids, she not married, this, that, and the third, but they saying she's such a catch. How do you define that? So the question I want to pose, because it's a two-part question about men and women, right? Do the men that are pointing the finger at women for the state of relationships need to look in the mirror? Are the women who say they are single by choice, are they being disingenuous? So as we know, it's been said here, maybe with the divorce rates that could prove it based on statistics, that men seem like they tired of women in these relationships, how women are acting, and but is it the men's fault actually? And then women be out here talking about they single by choice. Is that an actual thing? Or are they being disingenuous? Anybody want to take a shot, Chief?
So this is a tough one because I feel like Ashanti's of a certain caliber where she can kind of pick and choose what she want. You know what I'm saying? Like being wealthy, being a celebrity, being, as fine as she is, I feel like she can walk into a room and be like, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of have her pick of the litter.
What if a man want kids?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible, yes, but she probably exceeded that, that timeline that, that women are given, unfortunately.
So does that drop her value a little bit?
I do. I think so in that regard. But I think at this point, she's 42, but if she wanted to have kids, I'm pretty sure she would have done so.
She would have to shoot for an older dude at this point.
So like an older dude who's okay with it. I mean, that works too. But my thing is,
somebody that might have their mind made up like they don't want kids or something, or they already had kids and they straight and just want somebody to have a relationship and just chill with. But like somebody under 30 that want to make a family, she's definitely not gonna be a pick. She fine, but like
right. Yeah. So I would agree with that statement. But I mean, as far as from a man's perspective, I don't think she'd be the pick just because I think anybody trying to like show off as like a status symbol or I bagged Ashanti type deal, but a dude trying to, trying to raise a family and have some kids, like Ashanti wouldn't be the pick, I think.
So also Nas, remember he bagged Nicki, smashed a little while and left her.
That's it.
And I don't know, they might be same caliber. I mean, it's arguable. But the post was saying, that she not it. Like, yeah, she looked good in them pictures, but that's all it is to most men.
Yeah, but is it the same? Does the same thing apply for just, quote unquote regular 42-year-old with no kids?
Oh,
like it was just because it's Ashanti and she bad and she got bread and she's famous and all that good stuff.
She got the sideburns too. Don't forget. Sideburns crazy. So,
I think dudes stressing the sideburns because, like you said, dudes ain't stressing the sideburns. She could still get smashed.
But what I'm saying is, she got so many more qualifiers than the average 42-year-old woman, and she still got some drawbacks. So
yeah, from regular niggas though. I mean, there's probably a bunch of niggas up there that's smashing that we don't know about.
But Chief, that's the point. That's what I said in my thing. They got mad hate. Niggas is getting cheeks.
Yeah, I guess that.
I mean, you know what I mean? So is it, the men that are pointing the fingers at women for the state of relationships, do they need to look in the mirror or what? What you think about that part of the question? Even aside from Ashanti.
There's definitely accountability on both sides.
Hold on, Devin. Don't try to save Chief.
Ain't no saving coming. I'm on the fence with this one. Yes, dude. I mean, I think again, it is both sides. But definitely dudes need to check themselves, and I do think a lot of the women who are claiming to be single.
Mr. White, can you hit Chief with the wow? Please?
Is that not accurate though? Fellas need to look in the mirror And women need to, and the women who are claiming they're single by choice probably haven't even decided to look in the mirror. Probably broke all the mirrors in the crib. Don't even act like they exist.
So okay, so you answered both. So is it the women's fault or are these men? Because you know how it's named, right? When men start talking like how we talking now, we insecure, right? We don't got it together. We need to adjust. So do men need to look in the mirror, or are men's points justified in how they viewing modern women these days?
Like, that's a double-edged sword. If I had to pick a side, I'm going. I mean, as being a man, I'm going. Women need to look in the mirror. Women need to. Yeah. I mean, we all got our shit, but to be 42 years old and to not have settled down, I mean, again, she has a choice. She could do what she want to do, but at the end of the day, you're 42. You got a serious bag and no dude on your side. Yeah, it's a little suspect.
Alex.
Go ahead, Alex.
So, okay. So first of all, she was in a long-term relationship with Nelly for years, right?
So that ended moons ago.
So
long time
allegedly they're back together. They're rekindling things, right? My thing is, aren't men supposed to ask the woman? So isn't it he who finds a wife? So it could be a situation where the men have an issue with commitment, number one. Number two, when it comes to her and her children, you don't know if she has issues. You don't know if she's freezed her eggs. You don't know if she was with that man for a long time and she was waiting like, okay, when are we going to do this? Or I'm being patient because I'm trying to get this together. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. Even out of women who aren't celebrities, there are plenty of women who will be with a man for years waiting for him to ask. So I think that accountability goes back on men. For the second question, are the women who say they're single by choice disingenuous? I don't think they're disingenuous. But what I do think is that I think when women say they're single by choice, I don't think they're saying I'm closed off to love or I'm closed off to wanting a long-term relationship or something serious. I think they're just saying right now, the right person hasn't come around. And in the meantime, I'm waiting. I'm doing what I need to do on my own so that when he comes around, I'm fully ready.
Nelly has 2 kids.
That goes back to that same conversation we had weeks ago where she's what was it, taking time to develop herself. I can't remember the term of the conversation, but like self-love. That's what that sounds like to me.
So to the point where Hamp's thing of saying Nelly has 2 kids, okay, well maybe she didn't want to be a baby mom.
Look at you. You just moving the goal. You just making sure she okay. You just want to make but he got 2 kids though.
You took it upon yourself to mention something that was out of the equation that was irrelevant, so I addressed it. You said
Alex,
he had 2 kids. That was the what?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So I mean, it being on the man, to find a wife, right? I agree. To find a wife is to find a good thing. I agree with that statement. Then I would have to ask, what do you think? Is Ashanti a wife? Like, I'm thinking maybe perhaps she's not.
Do I think she's wife material?
Is she a wife? Not material.
She's not a wife. She's
not every woman's a wife.
But that may be the reason that Nelly won't marry her is because he has not found her to be a wife.
But he found a baby mama. So what was it with that? Was it Nelly the issue, or was it
Ashanti? Her to be a wife either.
Because he also had another long-term relationship after that, and they never got married either. So is it on him or is it on her?
Yeah, exactly.
They should have left. Why Ashanti mess with her? She should leave. She shouldn't mess with him no more. She want to be if she wants to be a wife.
Now I do agree with agree that women we sometimes stay past our time.
Weird.
But I think we stay past our time because we feel like, you know what, I love him. I put in all this work. Might as well. I don't want to leave for the next person to come in.
So what's the excuse for going back?
Because then that becomes her choice. Then she's making a choice to have.
Wait. Look what Chief just said though. Alex heard it, smiled, and she chose to address you 2 up top.
What's her excuse in going back?
You said what's her excuse of going back?
Yeah,
maybe they're on the path of deciding, okay, like let's give this another go. Maybe she has him on a timer, and maybe she's saying if we're gonna do this again, we need to do this for real.
I read a term
at a certain point in time. We're not married. I'm done.
I read a term today called toxic forgiveness. We'll get it. I read a term today called toxic forgiveness.
All right, Alex, just hold on a second.
Okay.
I mean, the hold on, Ace. Let me just qualify what Alex was saying. Bullshit. All right, go ahead, love. Sorry.
This is foolishness. So it's funny how I listened to the men make excuses and put it back on the woman, and you purposely, intently, and consciously avoided. Nelly has baby mamas. He's had several long-term relationships. Is he the F boy? Is he the one that's not ready? Is he the problem? Has he looked himself in the mirror and done self-reflection to do what he needs to be doing? Does he
Why are you
want to
talking about
marry?
Nelly?
Because it says, do men wait, hold on. Go back to
Are you saying Ashanti and Nelly are instantly entwined?
I am looking for the question. I thought it was like, do men have to look in the mirror as well? Or something like that. Do the men that are pointing the finger at women for the state of relationships need to look in the mirror is the question. And so I'm addressing the question, right?
Why is it Nelly though?
Because I'm answering the question. Because he needs to look in the mirror and do a self-introspection and reflection on why he's still single. Why is he continuing making baby mamas?
With Nelly.
Why is he? Well, no, he's a man, right? And y'all are capping for him and saying it's Ashanti, but he's a prime example of a man who's had long-term relationships, and he's decided not to be married, but he stayed. Why is he not ready to settle down? Why is he not deciding to say, I'm going to do true introspection, be the best version I can be, and I want to settle down because I ultimately want to have a wife, not a baby mama.
Because
I mean, he doubled back to Ashanti, didn't he?
Wife, she has to set that expectation from the jump. If you don't,
but do men have to look in the mirror or not? Okay, let me ask you,
whatever.
Devin and SGA, y'all keep on talking. So I want to know: do you feel men need to look in the mirror to do self-reflection?
Yeah, you have to. As a married man, I have to.
I would always encourage a man to
in terms of the question.
If I'm miserable, chances are my wife is miserable. She's gonna be.
But in terms of the question, yeah, in relationships specifically.
Yeah, in relationships, I think it's a double-edged sword because if y'all both come with baggage, y'all both unhealed, you have things unsettled, y'all gonna jam each other up anyways, and then you're gonna play the blame game with each other, and that's toxic and don't really go nowhere. So it's he has to look himself in the mirror in the sense of the intent that he set out for the relationship, but as a woman, she has a responsibility of laying out her expectations from the jump. So she's like, well, if she says, look, I ain't no long-term girlfriend, I'm not shacking up, you say that from the jump, you letting the man know what you stand on. But if you say nothing, us being us, we gonna walk all over that until you say something.
So the first part of the question, the answer to the first part of the question is yes. Men need to look at themselves in the mirror. Perfect. And when you look at yourself in the mirror, what do you see? When you say I should be or could be a better man, you have that conversation with yourself.
Have to.
Okay. Do you make improvements upon yourself and saying, here's the strategic steps I need to take to become the best version of myself? Because as you said, if I'm happy or if I'm effed up, my wife gonna be effed up. So are you the leader in society? Thank you, Devin, for being very honest. You are agreeing that men are the leaders in society.
You answered it.
You lead the relationships, and you guys are the pioneers and the people and the men that are going forward and setting the tone. Really, thank you for being honest.
Yeah, you answered it good. B. What you think? Is Asia right? Is Devin right?
I would agree with Devin, SGL, as well as Love. This one, I would have to say it is a double-edged sword. There's been situations that I've been in. I had to take a look in the mirror. There's been situations I've been in where the woman had to take a look in the mirror. Friends telling me things, the man had to take a look in the mirror. The woman had to take a look in the mirror. It's all really situational. It just all depends on the situation at hand.
No. Stand on something for once in your life.
So
if you had to answer the question, answer the question. This ain't Tuesday. Tell him, Asia, this ain't Tuesday.
Just to help him, I think.
No, Chief. No, fuck that nigga. Let him go.
I'm gonna say the men. I'll say the men.
Okay.
I'll say the men.
All right, so you're saying that all the complaining we've done about women, we really need to look at ourselves to understand. So coochie credit and all that's on us.
Hold on, coochie credit.
He had you wrong for that. Right, here he goes.
Hold on, Devin. Nah. Let him talk.
So whatever we give them, they multiply.
Devin. No.
Coochie credit is specifically for women because women will sit back and use a man for their own frivolous purposes.
But the question is relationships. So what's good? See, you know what I hate about that? Asia try to jump in and say that ain't. Yes, it is fair. So if goddamn it, if coochie credit is their fault, but then you saying we got to look in the mirror, you got to stand. I know you sick, but I can't let it lie. I can't let it slide. Look at Chief. No, Chief, you took your cape off. You took Bub hoodie off. Go.
Well, if we're gonna look at coochie credit as example, then that falls on women.
Ham, why do you sit
Nah,
there?
Asia, don't make me throw you in the back chat.
Ham,
Mary waiting. Mary salivating. Go ahead, B.
Mary, damn. Ham, it's all situational. I know you wanted a direct answer. It's all situational. I have to sit back and I have to examine the situation at hand.
All right, let me call on somebody I can get an answer from. Q, can you answer the second question? Are women who say they are single by choice being disingenuous?
I think there is something disingenuous when women say that. But I don't think that it applies to all women. I think there are a few that are single or are single by choice, to Love's point, because they are kind of or I think it might have been Alex who said it.
What's the majority though?
Yeah, I think when the majority say it, it's because they haven't been chose. And so they're looking for something that's not really out there for them. And then I think that's a big part of it. You know what I mean? Like you just kind of on somebody, like when you look at these large groups of women in the church, you know, that's single, talking about they waiting on the Lord to give them a husband and all that shit. Yeah, that you ain't single by choice. It's just not.
Question on that Q. Are they reaching for niggas that they is out of their league?
Possibly. And I think that's a lot of what Kevin Samuels was speaking to, trying to get some eye openers with that, but became a very controversial person as a result of it. But yeah, I must say this, Ham, your examples and scenarios sometimes be trash. And like the shit you suck B into was bullshit. But yeah, to answer the second question, that's
so corny.
Because
here's the thing about it. I used the example that he gave.
Yeah, but that doesn't apply to relationship like that.
Coochie credit doesn't apply to relationships.
No, this nigga's just like, that's when you out there playing the field and these women be on some fuck shit.
He's not playing though. If he's trying to find a woman and she using coochie credit, how are you going to qualify him as playing?
Yeah. That's not no real shit.
Stop.
You go with some extreme shit that you know nobody could come back from, and that be your scenario. You be like,
you know what's so crazy? You can't come back from it.
So here's the thing. So you're saying that this applies to this and this? No, my nigga, that second part was bullshit.
He used coochie credit.
Yeah,
right?
but
so why can't I use coochie credit as an example?
You right.
I know.
Yeah.
Next. I know. Yeah, that's what I was about to tell you. Next, nigga, mute.
Yep.
I love you though. Hey, Mr. White. I need some sense, man. Q usually give me some sense, but she just hurt my feelings.
So what was I'm gonna ask? I'll answer the second question first. Are women dissing? Absolutely. No woman is out here saying I'm single by choice. You are single because the type of man you want don't want you.
Damn.
Period. Period. If the man you wanted that you were seeking approached you and tried to talk to you, you would give him the time of day, right? You wouldn't. This man that you described, Asia, if he was to come and approach you how you wanted to and respect you and gave you exactly what you needed, exactly. So the majority of women who say they are single by choice.
But notice what you said, you said came how I wanted him to, right?
Right. So you're single because so let me ask you this. Do you believe that type of man exists?
Absolutely. Of course.
But he hasn't came to wife you up yet.
He hasn't come in my purview yet because he still had work to do. And I don't date for potential. I work for what they really are.
So there's no men that are currently like that right now, that are just out here existing. My point is, you're not single by choice. You're single because of the type of man you want has not came and picked you.
I am single by choice. I am. And the choice, but the choice could be, but listen, the choice could be women want to just be in their singleness and work on themselves. They want to heal. They want to heal the traumas. They don't want to put their trauma on the next relationship. So that's a single by choice as well. We want to make sure we don't bring some effed up baggage from old stuff and old trauma into new relationships. So that's a single by choice as well. We want to make sure we're the right type of woman for the right man that comes along. So that's single by choice too.
Absolutely. Hold on, B. So there are women who say, okay, I'm single because I'm working on me. The majority of y'all are not actually doing the work. Let's be honest. Are not actually doing the work. And even then, when y'all are doing the work, y'all will fall out of doing the work to get a man who really not qualified to be with you anyway. And they say, oh, all people ain't this. I don't know why I dated. So it goes back to what I was saying. And you just agree with me. You literally just said if a man came to you and approached you the way that you wanted to, you would talk to him. So you're single because that man has not approached you yet. It's not by choice. Because if he approaches you, that choice goes out the window.
Of course, if the right man comes along and it's the right time.
Ask your question, B.
I was gonna say, but you hit on the point. When a lot of women say they don't want to bring in bad or whatever into the next relationship, I always ask, well, are you seeking therapy? Are you doing the work? And I've never met a woman who says, or very few who say they are getting therapy. So my thing is, if you're not seeking therapy, if you're not doing the work, then exactly what are you doing? But
a lot of women are doing the work. A lot of women are doing the work. A lot of women, Black women, are seeking out therapy now. They are getting the tools. A lot of that does happen. And if you're running into women who you see that are damaged and are not seeking therapy, bring the caliber of women that you interact with and are attracted to. Bring that up.
But I'm talking about a lot of the women that I've encountered. Now,
that's what you're talking about.
I know that would be anecdotal, but at the end of the day, a lot of the women that I encounter, they're saying, "Oh, I'm not in a relationship because of X, Y, Z." And then I would always say, "Are you in therapy?" And the majority of them would say, "No." Well, what the hell exactly are you doing?
B, are you in therapy?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. Yeah. And so, Ham, I'm talking to B. Ham, how are you answering for B?
He said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah."
Okay, B.
And so I have mentors. I have life coaches as well.
Perfect. That's awesome. So you're actually doing the work. So with the question that you answered earlier, that you looked yourself in the mirror and said, "I need to change and be better." That's all. I saw. You answered that, and you answered that appropriately. And I'm glad. I want you to stay there because Hamp brought you. He showed you a shiny ball, and he changed your direction. Talking about coochie credit, but I want you to keep on going along that path and that journey way of talking. That's what I want to bring you back to that.
Now, hold on. Now, but when I asked that question, I wasn't saying that to like put it off on the women, but I did ask it in all sincerity because again, I like this lady at work. She confides in me, and she's like, "Oh, I don't want a relationship with X, Y, Z." And I'm like, "Well, what are you doing in the meantime?" "Oh, nothing." Well, how would you make your next relationship better if you got in the next relationship if you aren't putting in the work? You're not going to therapy. You ain't doing shit throughout the day. So you get to work late every goddamn day. So what are you doing? But that's enough of that.
Yeah. Shout out to Salva for the $2 super chat. She ain't say nothing, but we appreciate it. Hey guys, if I clap, you gotta clap too. That like helps.
It's a heart emoji.
Oh, it's a heart emoji?
Yep.
I'm on this damn Windows PC like Adrian. My shit, man. Damn. Okay.
Hey yo, hold on. Cannot. Never mind. Let Ro go.
Bro, I want to get some insight from you, Glenn and Devin. Quick. Let me just get y'all insight on one of the two parts of the question.
What was the first
hold on,
part?
Ro gonna go right now. It's scrolling, right?
Yeah.
Do men that are pointing fingers at women for the state of relationships need to look in the mirror?
Yes.
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 Are you saying women are totally innocent from the state of relationships, or the majority it falls on how men are picking, approaching, wifing, loving, so on and so forth?
If men are supposed to take the lead and they're supposed to find us, they need to look in the mirror about why they're not getting the caliber of women that they want.
And it doesn't matter that women are picking the same men.
It does matter. If you let me finish. I think
pausing this shit. I don't know.
I mean, like I said before, everybody makes their decisions. So you make your decision, and if it's not working for you, you keep picking the same type of female, or she keeps picking the same type of man, and no one's deciding or looking in the mirror about what's going on with them. Then I think it's both. I think it is a woman can be disingenuous, and she could say, like everybody else, like some of the people said on the panel, they're disingenuous, saying that they want to take a break and they can't, they're working on themselves. There are women that are like that. But there's also men that keep picking the same type of female, dealing with the same type of stuff, not telling the female what they're doing to them, staying in the relationship because they want to get the ass or they want to do whatever. And then they complain about the way she acts or the way she treats them. So yeah, they need to look in the mirror.
A lot of men stay too because they got kids.
That's true, but that's dumb. Because if you're not happy, it's the same thing Devin said. If you're not happy and you're making her unhappy, it's nothing but chaos.
What happens in divorce? Do men lose their kids?
Mine didn't, because I was proactive.
No, I'm saying men. I'm not saying yours. The majority. Do men lose their kids?
They shouldn't.
Do men lose their kids?
If they do, it's their choice.
Oh my God.
Dude, oh my, what the
okay.
If they do, it's their choice.
I know, Alex. I know you're gonna stay on code, but somebody got to say something. Hold on, B. You just need an answer.
Bro. Yes or no?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Do men lose their kids?
For the most part, yes. Statistically, yes.
So why sacrifice your greatest asset? Men don't want to sacrifice their greatest asset, go through alimony, divorce, losing their kids, child support, right? So we stay. There might be something on the side, but the cost benefit doesn't make sense.
Staying in it and creating chaos doesn't make sense either.
What?
Yeah, staying in it and creating chaos doesn't make sense either.
No, you don't want to stay in chaos, especially if there's kids involved. You stay for kids involved.
What y'all saying? Y'all supposed to just continue to keep arguing and fussing in front of kids? You gotta vex them.
Oh, I don't even know if that's an absolute, but I understand what your point is.
I mean, but having a bad season in a marriage isn't a reason to divorce. Like, it's got to be something extreme. Like, there's got to be infidelity. There's got to be physical abuse. There's got to be something extreme. Like, just because you Negroes aren't getting along, that's still frowned upon, because I think people, what jams up relationships, everybody's expecting everybody to become as a finished package. If that's the case, then what's the point of being married? Y'all supposed to build one another as you grow with each other. Because, like, you know what I'm saying? Hemp, you got a wife, right? Is your wife a finished product when you got her, or she's been growing with you? You've been growing with her. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're growing together. So I couldn't expect my wife to come complete and finished, because a lot of time what jams up people in the dating and people being single and disingenuous and all that is the fact that what you're looking for might not necessarily be the person that's meant for you. And the person you end up with is the person that you're really meant to be with, because they challenge something in you that you lack in. Like, as a man, I don't want a woman that's just like me. We be fighting all the time. It probably go to blows, probably gunshots. We can't be together. I can't be with me, but I can be with somebody who compliments me, because there's parts of my wife that I wish I had in me, and I know it's parts of me because she like people. I don't like people. You know what I mean? Like, she has a softer side, a more understanding side. With me, I have a more emotional detachment that I'm working on in therapy, because it's been heavy in a marriage. You know what I'm saying? Women need that from you. So I lack that, because I wasn't raised on love. I was raised on survival. So when you have them two things clashing together, it becomes difficult. She becomes unheard. She starts to feel undervalued and all these things. Even though you might love that woman, but the fact that you lack the ability to be able to express it properly is what could lead to the dysfunction. So that's why therapy, especially in our culture, is important, because we got a lot coming with us, and we learn to tuck it and tighten up and all that, because the world expects us to be the strongest out of everybody and act like trauma didn't happen to us. Like, that ain't stitched into our DNA. You get what I'm saying?
I'm gonna tell you, I disagree with therapy. I'm not on that therapy train. I found that people can manipulate therapy. You can get what out of it based on what you put in it. And motherfuckers is not being genuine because people don't want to hear the truth. So if you're not going in raw, that therapy shit is bullshit. I think men
wasting the therapist time.
Yeah, facts. And I think men, if we want to become our best selves, I think hard times help us create that. And we have to deal with them to an extent. We can't go to somebody else and try to figure it out all the time. But I don't want to usurp Sir Glenn's time. Go ahead, say
You're right. I agree with you. Because I think there are a lot of men have gotten soft. But I say the same thing about women. I think women have gotten soft too, like compared to women. I think there are two different types of men, right? There's a serious man, and then there's a man who's doing what, not serious yet. So for a serious man, he's always going to know he's going to be responsible for how he leads himself and who he actually wants to be in a relationship with. When he wants to be in that, that's a serious man. When he's ready for a relationship, he's going to be responsible. He is going to miss women. He's not going to deal with women who want to lead them around and be the leader, right? He's not going to deal with you, right? Like, so at the end of the day, I say it depends on who's the leader, right? So when
what you mean by that?
Yeah, when women are the leader, right? So there are a lot of women who want to lead men, right? And so the type of men they attract are men who will allow themselves to be led in their household. So in a way, it puts her here, it puts them down here, and this is where a lot of the complaints come from, right? So she
being too passive
him in a way. Oh, absolutely, in no situation. I think her as the leader, she's ultimately responsible because she is leading that man, right? Personally, that man is responsible for building himself so that he doesn't allow himself to come into that situation with the woman, right? And then if we flip that, a man who's a leader is ultimately responsible if he gets in a relationship with a woman who's not serving a purpose to him, right? Because you decide the relationship or not, right? Or whether you get in a relationship. So it's a lot of men, particularly men who are ready for relationships, that are making themselves better. At least in my circle. Well, in my circle, I would say it's a lot of good men. So they found wives and all these things. But I would say that one more thing I gotta say. There are two different.
Hold on. Time out. Yeah. I don't know what the first thing you said was. So so you saying some men should be led, some men should be leaders,
led, but they do get led.
And you saying that causes confusion?
Absolutely. And in those situations, the woman allowing herself to lead a man or choosing to be with a man who she obviously are willing to lead, or whatever she want to call it, a fixer-upper, she's really responsible for that.
If a woman is looking for a man that want to be led, is she broken, you think?
I would say
she
so.
Might be a manipulator.
I would say because she's stepping into a role that naturally is not hers, right? And her willingness to do that means that she doesn't. I feel like she is broken because she may not understand how to take that position as a woman.
Disingenuous.
Strong man. I've never been a strong male lead in her life, like no dad, no older brothers, uncles, none of that. And she's always seen mom and grandma do it. She's just gonna do what she's modeling, and that's not.
And when strong men come around, they're gonna repel from her.
She's gonna compete.
Repel them. I mean, same thing.
Okay. All right. I understand.
Let me say one quick thing. Funny how
Last
y'all
one.
can say that, but let a woman tell it, they can switch their femininity on like this, regardless of how they've been raised, regardless of what they've seen, regardless of any past relationship.
Maybe she wants to be married.
They can learn all of this stuff, and then boom.
So I think, Adrian, the point that you just made, make it one more time. Make it one more time, Adrian.
Yeah. So hold on, my garage opening. My bad. But my point was that how y'all was just explaining how they can be trained, they can see all of these things from their mother, their grandmother, or whatever. But if you let a woman tell it, she can flip in and out of her feminine and masculinity like it's nothing, right? They'll say, "Oh, if I'm around a masculine man, I will automatically become feminine." That's not true. It doesn't work like that. It's not something you can turn off and turn on. So while y'all was sitting there spitting and talking, they was agreeing with you, but at the same token, they'll agree with, no, if I'm around a masculine enough man, I will automatically be feminine, even though I have not been operating in that my entire life.
Yeah, I think
I don't see how a woman could not operate in her energy. She's a woman. She's already operating. Normally, when they express their feelings, when they have a thought about something, they say, "I'm feeling something." When a man is on in his feelings, he's like, "I think." There's a logical side to how we think emotionally, and there's an emotional side component to them, and that's just how they're designed. And we drive each other crazy because the way she communicated and the way I communicated don't make sense to us, but they make sense when you're together because she has to be that energy, and you have to be the logical energy. Because how
What are
can
you
you
talking
lead
about,
if you
Devin?
don't have your head?
If somebody doesn't operate in a particular energy, Adrian said that, how do they just turn it on all of a sudden?
I don't know how they turn it on. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how they turn it on or off. I feel like a woman is going to be a woman. But when she seems to act more masculine in a man role, is because she doesn't feel like she's being led or being protected. A lot of time when they act in that energy is because there was a male energy that left them to do everything. So they had to step out of being soft and being protected to having to be protected.
So you saying
that's
it's
not
their
her
father's
natural role.
So you saying it's her father's fault? It's not her fault.
Because the order of the home starts with the man. We know that. It starts with the
So
man.
you saying that the woman is no. Let me ask some question.
A
You
house
saying
that's
that the
led by
woman
a
is
man that's got his
completely
head together
exonerated?
in society, them kids do better.
Nah, fuck
The man
that. I'm
absent in
saying
that
what
man
I'm
absent in
saying
the
is
house.
this. What I'm asking is this though. You
Yeah.
saying that if she doesn't have a father, if she doesn't have father figures, how she comes up is not her fault. And you saying
Not
that however
necessarily
she
how.
acts is a product of a man not doing his job.
Okay, I got what you're saying. So what I'm saying is the trauma that happened to you is not your fault because it happened to you. But how you allow it to formulate you and how you allow it to grow you, that's making a choice, because at some point in that line, you had to make a choice to be like, hey, am I gonna heal or am I gonna remain the same and then get the same and complain about getting the same until it gets too hot to sit in the pot? Like, you got to get up and make a change. Like, I got tired of being how I was being. I got tired of my wife feeling how she's feeling because she's in her right to feel that. So it was on me to take the chance. Like, I have to change that, because if I'm not in order, she don't fall in line, my kids don't fall in line, it's all out of order. That's a curse on my house. I can't allow that to happen. You're the man, you're the first line of defense. You're just wired differently than her for a reason, because
I don't
you're
know.
there
I
to
feel like
provide and protect and to
you
guide and
can't
to lead.
it feels to me like you giving too, like there's no fucking accountability though. Like I understand that we supposed to lead, but
that's what I'm saying.
but it doesn't. But what you saying is not exactly that though, because you saying
But
if the
if
man isn't
she
doing
never
X,
goes to
Y,
seek
Z.
therapy, I think because the people who grow up in the trauma like that, the thing about that trauma, it rewires you to a degree.
Well, let me
But
ask this question.
if trauma is normal to you, then you wouldn't
Hold
think
that thought for
anything.
a second, because your thoughts is long, but I like them. Hold that thought for a second.
I got you.
So I want to ask this question because Devin, what he was saying leads into it, right? Because the theme is who hurt you. So it's trauma uses a scapegoat for bad behavior.
It can be when people don't want to make the change to get better.
Now, Devin, you watched the show before. I don't accept can, right? Everything can be something, right? But in terms of the question, is trauma uses a scapegoat for bad behavior. So let it marinate for 2 seconds, and I want to see what love thinks.
Thank you. And I was going to say, it is used as a scapegoat when people make that as part of their identity. And so they feel like you're trying to change who I am because they identify with that bad behavior. For example, someone that gets angry quickly or got a real smart, nasty mouth. That's just how I am. That's just who I am. Accept me. Yeah, no, you're like that way because it's a defense mechanism. And so you need to heal that trauma within you. But you're trying to change who I am. This is just who I am. They feel like you they don't feel like you love them or accept them as who they are. That's this big thing now. Let me be speaking my truth. Let me be me and love me as I am. Yeah, no, not that broken part of you. Mm-hmm. So it absolutely is used as a scapegoat for bad behavior because they identify it as that is who they are.
Okay, so like you say that an angry response is an automatic like trauma response?
No, let's give an example here. So I'll give a different.
I'm asking a question. Yes, I'm asking a question about that example.
Yes, that is one example of a trauma, a symptom of trauma. Yes.
So anger is automatically a symptom of trauma.
Explosive anger, or violent anger. Yes.
That's what I deal with. Because what
happened to me wait, Devin, hold on a second. I got you. So I'm trying to understand. So is anger automatically a trauma response, or is it explosive anger? Is it levels to it?
So it's because anger, I can be angry with you and not react to you in a detrimental way. Like I have been angry on this show before, but how I executed that anger is I got quiet, I sat back, and I let people talk.
So you're saying the manifestation of the anger is can be a trauma
execution. The execution of the anger is the negative piece of it, right? Can be negative. Yeah. So again, my anger and how I express it, because I don't want to be that explosive person. Because I've been healed, and I've healed through that trauma. I said, I'm sorry, Eddie is stupid. I'm sorry. I sit back and I get quiet and I don't respond to people.
Just make sure he don't show. I'm sorry. Just make sure he doesn't show with that dirty hat as he usually does for these channels.
And so other people have explosive anger. You anger them, you piss them off, they feel disrespected. They will hit you, they will curse you out, or they will throw something at you. That's explosive anger. And that is a trauma response.
That was me.
Because it wasn't healed. And thank you, Devin. That was you. Because again, you said you grew up out of survival, not off love. And so, as you said, you're going through the healing process and therapy and whatnot. And you identify. That's how I know that you're going through the process, because you've identified that.
Okay. And so, because what happened to me as a kid
Devin, hold on.
Be emasculated, and I respond that way.
Devin, you can't respond to everything every time. Let it flow. Shout out to the baby. Mr. White, from your professional opinion, I feel like it can matter. And then I want to get Chief and Rotunda.
Okay, let me put my professional hat on first, right? Well, first with that anger thing she said, that's not true. It depends on severity and frequency too, right? So just anger or whatever she said, when it's explosive, you can have a moment of that, but it depends on how often it's happening and the level you are hitting for if it's possibly a trauma response, right? Let's say that there. As to the question, do people use it as a scapegoat behavior? After a while, absolutely. Absolutely. Once you're aware of something, it's then up to you to go ahead and do the work to work through it, to get you a therapist, to apply the work. Hamp said a great point. You get more out of therapy than what you do when you're not in the sessions like that. So it's still majority self work. You know what I'm saying? So I think absolutely it's so comfortable to sit in that trauma and in what happens to you, so much so that you can fall in love with your story, right? Of, oh, this person left me and this person left me. And so now you're stuck, right? But because you won't work through that, you literally can be here. But you fell in love with your story for so much because it's safe, because it's what you used to, because of the sympathy or the empathy that you get from that story. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. Y'all gotta pay me for the rest. You know what I'm saying? 100 an hour.
That was enlightening. That was enlightening for me. Chief, go ahead.
So again, just piggybacking off of you and Mr. White, therapy typically helps people identify the problem. So in most cases, we don't know what we don't know. You know what I'm saying? So we can't consider it a scapegoat if we're not aware that we're doing this shit. You dig what I'm saying? But to Mr. White's point, once you have identified that problem and you've stepped out of therapy, now you got to deal with that and got to process that. And if you're still continuing to use your trauma as a scapegoat, then yes, to answer your question, trauma is used as a scapegoat for bad behavior because they'll keep doing the shit and be like, well, my daddy wasn't there, or my mama didn't love me, or you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you know that. So what you doing about it now? That's passe now. Like you got to level up at this point.
Bro, I think Chief on to something. I think Mr. White on to something.
I agree with everybody that said it. I believe it is a scapegoat, particularly if they use it for manipulation purposes. Yes.
Oh, okay.
I agree with that.
So like when Chief said like I did this because, and then everybody has that like sympathetic moment for them.
If he does it often, yes.
Why you say he? Why you say her?
You said Chief. You said, isn't he a he?
No, I'm saying the example he gave.
Oh, yes. The example he gave, yes.
Okay. I think that's fair. Anybody have a different thought about it?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I think we're in a time now where people are more self-aware, are becoming more self-aware. And I think the youth or children, those who don't have a sense of identity, may use trauma as a scapegoat. I think adults, when you're functioning in bad behavior, you're totally aware that you're just a fucked up person with some bad behavior. But I don't usually see people attaching that shit to trauma. Like,
you have an example?
With you, Hemp, you don't attach that shit to trauma. You just be like, that's who I am, right?
Because there's trauma, then there's toxic choices. Some
right.
people just make toxic choices.
I don't really see people. Now I could see like more, like I said, teenagers or young children using trauma as a scapegoat. Like, you know, y'all don't know what I've been through, or, you know, my parents, this and that. But I don't hear grown folks like nowadays talking like that. A lot of us are very self-aware. Not that we may or may not be getting to work, but we're a little bit more self-aware than that.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So it's more acceptable for teenagers or younger people to kind of use that as an excuse until they can figure it out?
I don't think it's an excuse
the
at all.
maturity thing.
Reason for everything, but I don't think there's an excuse for it. And I think that's what Devin was trying to say before Hamp tried to play the shit out of him, but Hamp be on his bullshit. But what he was trying to say, from what I understood, was what happens to you in your childhood is not your fault. How you deal with it as an adult is your responsibility.
All I said was shout out to the baby. I ain't saying nothing.
Before that, where you was trying to act, he was saying some invalid shit.
What happened was Love was. I think somebody went first, and then Devin jumped in. So I wanted to make sure we went around the panel.
Before that, when he was talking about.
Look how the brother remembered the situation, and look how the woman just wanted to try to manipulate and fabricate and all that. Shout out to you though, Q.
You was trying to play him, but I understood.
That's my man. Play for what?
You didn't let him land him. You didn't let him land.
Yeah.
So but I understood exactly what.
Look, all this nodding, get the fuck out of here. I don't care about that shit. Go ahead, Mary.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. You know, I wanted to answer the last question, but you know, whatever. Now, when it comes to this specific question, I do believe people do use it as a scapegoat, but also people do have to understand, listening to Asia and Love and Mr. White speak, I actually do believe that sometimes people can't accept I'm reacting based off of what you did. It has nothing to do with my trauma. If I'm being explosive, you pissed me off. Not what happened to me at the age of 11. And I feel like a lot of people can't accept that. A lot of people can't accept, hey, you're the one that pissed me off, so this is why I'm acting like this. This has nothing to do with trauma. But you just made me mad, so now I'm acting this way because you made me mad. And I feel like a lot of people base people's reaction off of things that they've been through when it could be what's going on in this moment right now.
But you don't think the explosive reaction or the above and beyond reaction isn't a part of what you've learned growing up, or some trauma you're holding on to? Because as adults, we learn how to respond to things differently.
No, it could be what you're doing to me right now.
What I'm saying. But with that being said, in that moment, we have to learn how to respond differently. We can't just go resort to the explosion. Like, that's the part of us growing. So if you're content with responding with an explosive way, then that says more about you than it does me.
But it goes back to Angel as well about the frequency.
It doesn't mean that it has to be from trauma. It doesn't mean it has to be from past trauma. It could be what's been happening either between me and you. Maybe this was your third strike. Maybe, you know, like we talked about yesterday on the women's show, maybe I kind of was sincere to you and kind to you, speaking, you know, directly, but not aggressively. But that third time, you caught the wrong timing.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to always be, and I feel like a lot of people don't accept that. I'm angry right now because of what you did to me, not because I want what I went through in 93. Yeah. I'm angry right now and acting like this because of you.
But how does that?
Go ahead.
No. I wanted to get
well, what I was gonna say is when it happens more often than not, like when that's your first response is what I was referencing. When that's your first response, instead of just trying to talk and use your words, that's indicative of some type of trauma or hurt or something that needs to be addressed and resolved. If that's your immediate response all the time, that's the problem.
But what if it's not the first time that you made me feel some type of way, but the first time I've reacted to you? It don't got to do with nobody else.
I'm talking about if your immediate response is always explosive anger. I'm talking about when I said what I said. I'm talking about that's your immediate response. That's just who I am. I react. I'm a hothead. Like people say that I'm just a hothead. That's you identify as explosive anger as who you are, and that's the problem.
But what I'm saying is it's not always that. You can feel like it's immediate response, but you did something to me 3 other times before and I did not touch upon it. So now you think I'm reacting wildly because this is the first time that I'm fully reacting because I gave you a chance by either not saying nothing or not bringing it up. Or
why you hanging around somebody that keep disrespecting you to get the 3 times?
And how is that fair if you didn't say nothing to him?
What in the adult?
But like we're going. I hear what Mary's saying.
Let me get Alex. Go ahead, Alex.
So I hear what Mary's saying. Sometimes some shit is just not trauma related. Sometimes you caught me on the wrong day. And on a normal occasion, maybe my natural response is to be like, I'm not going to say anything. So that could have been something that they were taught, to Chief's point, right? Maybe you were taught, don't just say anything. But one day, you know what? I'm fed up and this is how I'm going to react. Which goes to, I think Adrian said something about the frequency, right? The frequency of it. Are you having an outburst at every single moment in time? No, that's not what Mary was saying. Mary was saying in this moment today was not the day. Right? I think for the question itself, I do think trauma is a scapegoat, but I think it's society's fault. When you look at court cases, when you look at criminal things, they always want to go back and they look at, oh, well, they experienced this or oh, well, they experienced that. When you look at children and people who are abusive, they say like, oh, well, their dad wasn't around, or oh, they saw their mom and dad do this, they saw their mom and do that. I feel like there's always a need and a want for society to understand why someone is doing the things that they're doing. But where does the accountability come into play when you're doing fuck shit?
Okay, so Alex, just for clarity's purposes, if I do X repeatedly, and each time I've done it, you haven't said anything, and then the one time, the fifth, seventh, third time I've done it, now you spaz. How is that fair to me? How is that okay?
So
how is that okay if you've never communicated with me and I don't know that that's bothering you?
So you spoke about how we learn things as a child, right? Maybe as a child, I was bullied, or maybe as a child, I was chose not to respond, right? I was taught that's what I saw. Don't respond. Just let people do what they do. Be quiet. But one day I've had enough.
Okay, so to the point, not saying nothing is a trauma response.
Right. But not
even. Wait. Let's get some clarity though. So I understand. So you're saying so Chief, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying you've been traumatized so much and you explode. It's a trauma response by nature of the trauma you've been experiencing.
Right, because her first initial reaction was not to say anything. So then when time 3 happens, and I've moved her jeans out of her spot, and now she spazzes on me like, I didn't know that bothered you. But so at the 5th time when it bothers you, why not just talk to me and tell me about it? But instead you spaz like I'm supposed to be aware that I was pissing you off 5 other times.
A lot of times what happens,
I see what you're saying.
And I see what you're saying, but a lot of times also you got to keep in mind what happens is I'm not saying that you just 7 times not saying nothing. I'm saying maybe I'm not communicating it in a way that you want to receive it. A lot of times when a woman specifically does speak in a softer tone or is pretty chill about what she say, even when it comes to her kids, if they're calm and they're just bringing something up like, hey, I didn't like such and such. People don't take that in. People do not take that in the same way as being aggressive sometimes. So maybe I did tell you all 7 of those times what I didn't, I don't like when you do that, or don't do that to me, or something like that. You just decided not to take it in. I'm not saying that every time somebody's not saying nothing. It's just I'm addressing it, but not in a way that you want to receive it. So you're taking it as me not saying
and
nothing.
then you're saying the explosion is misconstrued because you've been trying to communicate it effectively and calmly, and then when you explode, you get demonized.
Right. And I feel like just overall, like my point is the fact that a lot of people don't take accountability for why somebody is acting. It's not always just trauma. It's what did you do to me right now?
Well, that's the thing. That's what's interesting, and I want to get SGL in because I get accused, right? And some of it might be factual, gaslighting, pushing people, da da da. You know what I mean? So we want to say that all the time up here, but Mary's talking about exactly that. People push people, but it's still on the person that was pushed.
Right.
Go ahead, Glenn.
Because the only person you can control is you. That's the only thing.
Well, let me get Glenn real quick.
I would always say,
and then Devin, I got you. Then Q.
Okay.
I typically was taught you don't typically push people unless you think you can whoop their ass, right? That's typically why men typically conduct ourselves in a reasonable manner amongst each other. I typically don't see that issue amongst men getting too far with the explosive tone. Like when it comes to men, a lot of times it is expressly known that it's about to get to that point, right? Like, and if you want to talk about, I've been around, men who gave other men fair warning, right? I'm gonna put you on the spot, but like, but even in that case, if another man gives you a fair warning, then at that point, there's a potential for violence, and if in that case, yes, of course, both parties have to take accountability for those situations. But if it's unreasonable, if it's just flying out the handle, just for no reason regularly, then that puts it in a different sort of space. But I figure most time, at least among men, I think that's typically a fair warning or an understanding that there's a potential threat of violence.
Word. Go ahead, Devin.
Yeah. I think my temper is something that's been like my Achilles heel my whole entire life. It's cost me relationships. It's cost me jobs, business opportunities, everything, because I'm the type of person, like, you might rub me wrong on Monday. By the time you got to Saturday, like she said, you on the last straw and don't know. But it'd be the smallest thing that you do that makes me go boom, because I tried to brush off all the big stuff and try to let you slide. And then when I can't let you slide anymore, I go boom. But the thing is, oh, snap.
Go ahead, Q.
Nah, my bad. Like, was about to roll off the couch. When you respond a certain way, it's still you're allowing somebody to control you. So what the thing is, I've learned that, like, my anger it's only cost me things. So it's like, how long do I let it slide to where, like, my every response to somebody expressing themselves is an explosion? Now, you have a right to be angry. I mean, that's a God-given emotion to you. You have a right to feel that because you have feelings for a reason, but it's how you go about them. You know what I'm saying? But like, there's still accountability on the person who can be egging you on and poking you on. A lot of times people don't want to see that part. They only want to see it when you go boom, but they kind of just breeze past the fact that, like, yo, you disrespected him on this day. You was talking greasy this day. You pushed him this day. You brushed by it this day. And then, like, that little thing that you did because you kept thinking that you could keep pushing them. And then when they went boom, now all of a sudden you play victim. Like, no, you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. You poke the bear,
Made me think about
your
Will
head
Smith.
knocked off. That, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, yeah, Will Smith, like, that situation alone was an explosion because he was pushed. Like, and Chris just happened to be the person that came out on because he never took the rage out with Jada for doing what she was doing. Like come on, like, you getting interviewed by the chick that cheated on you on national television. You got to be cool with that. You a joke everywhere. I'd have pushed any nigga to go crazy. But, like,
I think that speaks to Chief's point, right? Like, you've been harboring something, and then you want to put all the pain on the person when I think you're still accountable to Chief's point. Go ahead, Q. I think you want to address something that was said.
Yeah, I just want to say, to counter what Mary was saying, there was never a situation that I've been in where I spazzed on somebody and I was right. I felt right in the moment. And no matter what the situation, no matter how big or small it was, or, you know, they didn't push me 4 times. They pushed me on that day. I was wrong in every situation, because when you spaz or flip or whatever you want to call it on somebody, that's a lack of emotional intelligence. So there's something that causes you, there's a catalyst there that causes that response. And I don't think that that comes from a healthy place. But I will say that I think that putting in the work to be able to get past those moments and finding out what some of those triggers are, because I think triggers actually ignite those responses. And we don't take enough accountability for that in our society as Black people. Is this nigga here, this chick here, these motherfuckers don't understand. But it's like a lot of time that's us, and it's not right. It's not, you're just not right in any of those situations. I think we have to take a full set of accountability, and then if you're around people and not being energetically responsible, that you can't express yourself in a clear, calm, concise way, then again, that is also on you.
Word. Shout out to Chef Eddie with the $10 super chat. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put away childish things. 1 Corinthians 13 and 11. I just got a question. Do you think that someone can be in Q? That was a great summary. I actually don't want to ask my question because I think I didn't really disagree, but I want to just understand. Give me a yes or no. Do you think somebody can be innately loving, Adrian? Do you think somebody's nature can be just like loving nature?
Yeah.
You think so? Like they can just be like kind of like born like that? Anybody else think so? Yes.
Get wounded the most?
Yeah, I think you can be, but I think your environment plays such a role in who you become.
No, I get it, but your disposition can naturally be something.
Yeah, absolutely.
So is it fair? Does anybody agree?
I agree.
So would it be fair then? So then would it be also fair that somebody had like a nature of like anger or frustration, something like that, where they were innately angry?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
So I'm just and I'm not looking for I'm just putting it out there. You can be innately loving, but you can't be innately angry or a hateful person. I just disagree because I don't know if either.
They put out like documentaries about these people. There are people that are literally born like psychotic and like
they're sociopaths.
So they born. So that's
label it what you want, but it is what it is.
Label
right?
it. I'm just thinking you can be loving. If you can be loving, then I think there's has to be people that can be hating naturally.
Yeah, them people got people in their freezers. You know,
I have to say, what I'm doing them because that's a problem.
Children murdering their parents and stuff like that.
Yeah, like I just because we just the things that we like or we think is positive, we always say yes to. The things that we disagree with, oftentimes we just say automatically, no, that can't be a possibility.
So,
but if one, go ahead, Alex. Go ahead.
No,
Alex. They're gonna say I was mean to you if I don't let you talk.
No, I was just try to understand. So if children are born into the world innocent, right? Are you innocent? No. You don't think they are?
Hell no.
Like babies, you don't think they're innocent?
No fucking way.
Okay, well then never mind.
They're innocent.
No,
they haven't done anything to nobody yet.
They born. People are born how they are.
They soul at this age.
So babies can't be born. Babies cannot be born when they talk about mothers going through traumatic situations and the baby's taking that energy.
The trauma can pass.
You said what? I didn't hear
trauma
you.
can pass.
Oh yeah.
As African Americans, trauma pass.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think that babies can be born in traumatic situations and have
mean as shit.
They're born stressed. Yeah.
Me and Adrian know, right?
If they're born in a stressful situation, then they're stressful like that because we're the environment where they grew.
Yeah, we just saying that it's a possibility. Yeah. I mean,
it's a possibility though.
Well, yeah, so that's interesting. I just wanted to put that out there. Hey man, show some love, man. That was that was good. Hey, Chief, I'm gonna help you out with them sound effects, big boy.
Hey, bro, I'm trying to help out here, cuz.
Yeah,
hey, wait, hit the sound effect again.
I think it's a waterfall. Yeah, it's a waterfall. Shout out to Chief, man. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. I don't know if y'all been here from the beginning, but if you haven't, you missed something. Luckily, there's a playback. Plus, Alex gonna post this shit Monday at 5 a.m. on the dot because she's so diligent, better than me because I dropped the ball on the podcast. On Anchor, Spotify, and Apple. You feel me? All right. Damn, that shit's dope. So let me take a moment, right? I want to preface this with a story. So in my life, right? So my dad has this particular thing he likes to do, like play cards, right? But sometimes it made things like difficult. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even know how to play no cards. Like Adrian would be out, right? Everybody playing blackjack. You probably I don't. Did I ever play blackjack? Never. Like I
don't know how to
don't.
play either.
Yeah, but just in terms of just anecdotally, right? It was something I'm like I just right because I didn't like it, like you know what I mean. So like I just kind of stayed away from that path, you know. So like they used to be playing all types of shit around the way. I never played, you know, just something I stayed away from. Because I was afraid, you know, some things can be passed on, like we just mentioned, right? Some of those addictive traits, whether it's gambling, drinking, anything, you know. So I just made that like a conscious decision. So, and who knows, maybe I was overdoing it, right? So, does your parent trauma affect your own relationships now? So that actually kind of benefits, right? Because I don't really, you know what I mean? We got a bunch of casinos out here, right, Alex? You know what I mean? We got the Horseshoe, Arundel Mills, MGM, but I'm just like, I don't have no interest, you know? So for me, it could be a positive effect, maybe, you know, because that's another thing I could be doing potentially, you know what I mean? So does your parent trauma affect your own relationship? Alex, what you think?
1,000%.
Yep.
I think your parents, well, for me, parents are your first teacher. I'm not a mom yet, but I feel like parents do the best that they can. But as I've gotten older, and I've said to you before on previous episodes, when we talk about marriage, I didn't know what that looked like because my mother and her own traumatic experience, she kept everything away, hidden all of these things. So for me, the things that I should have learned going into relationships and being married, and even from my father, came back up, and I had to learn to work through that. It was just like, damn, like I'm not used to this. You know, you shouldn't be treated like this. That's not okay. That's not acceptable. So I definitely think your parents' trauma can be passed down.
Question. Sir Glenn Lamar, I got a question. Can you tell the difference in a woman that grew up with a father as opposed to without?
It depends on what type of father she had.
Can you tell if a woman grew up with a father as opposed to without?
Typically, if well, the
That's
one
right.
girl I dated,
Hold that thought.
Yes or no?
I wanted to see. I
would say because I only actually dated one girl who like father was heavy, like she looked up to her dad, you know.
So could you tell the difference? Is when
not in her.
Okay, so she acted like the other ladies essentially.
In a lot of her thinking, yeah.
Okay. I just want to get. I want to get Mary in because Mary actually brought this topic, if I'm not mistaken. Devin, can you tell back when you was outside a woman that had a father as opposed to without?
Yeah, because like every woman got a father, but not all of them had a dad. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I mean. Like somebody in their life.
Yeah, the ones who had great dads,
New guys killing.
They tend to be a different type of woman. The ones who had shitty dads, they tend to be.
You could tell
in that vibe. Yeah.
Okay.
Because how they treat the man.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? If they had a dad they didn't respect, they're gonna have a man they're not gonna respect. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's because he teaches her that. He teaches her how to be loved and receive love the right way by a man. That's his job. That's my job with my daughter. I'm supposed to set the platform for some cat to pick up. So
let me read
son will come in here and
let me read the super sticker real quick. because Q gonna act like I cut you off and did some shit. So if you don't mind, ask Abe with the $4.99. Look at now Q like, damn, I think I was. Oh, Mary, what'd you think?
There's a lot going on tonight. Does your parents' trauma affect your own relationships? Absolutely. Now, specifically to what you're saying in regards to, can you tell the difference? Sometimes you can all the time, but it doesn't mean it in a bad way or a good way. You can come across the girl that's had her father in her life, her whole life, daddy's little girl, and she's a fucking savage because of this nigga. You know what I'm saying? And then there can be the other type of daddy's girl that's just sweet and loving and innocent and, oh, I don't want to do nothing to upset him type of thing. So there's two different types of daddy girls that you could come across. But the parent trauma does, affect you. A lot of my need to care for somebody came from my mom being with niggas that couldn't do shit. So I always thought I had to be with men that didn't have nothing to be able to provide them with something, because I was always in that independent nature that my mother was in. Now, it changed, of course, with life experience. My husband is nothing like that. But I had to learn that. He had to teach me that along the way. My father passed away before I met my husband. So I had to learn from my husband, how things should look, getting around other different couples and, seeing other submissive women. But that comes from me not knowing, because of being around my mother that was so independent. I was that automatically.
Okay. Chief, we shared before, right? You grew up with your moms only.
Yes.
How do you surmise the question?
So when you ask it, the funny thing is the first thing I thought of was my grandparents. Just because when you raised by a single mom, she's out doing the thing. You with your grandmoms, I'm saying, my grandfather. So like, does the parent trauma affect your own relationship? Yes, but it can be in various different ways, though. You know what I'm saying? So like, for example, my grandfather was, he was a drunk and would come home beating on my grandma. I haven't been drunk a day in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like that was something I saw back then. It was like, yo, that's drinking, it ain't for me. If that's what drinking makes you do, I don't want to do that. You dig what I'm saying? But in the same token, my father wasn't around. So it put a desire in me to want to be the best father I could be. So my daughter don't have these same feelings. You know what I'm saying? So I had like an adverse effect to it. You dig what I'm saying? So, and that's kind of my thing. So the trauma, it depends on how you handle the trauma. Like Mr., once you identify it, it depends on how you go about handling it. You know what I'm saying? I chose to go like a different route, I guess.
It sounds like you flipped it, right?
Right. And I just realized that in both ways, like seeing them drink like that.
Right there.
Right. So seeing them drink like that ain't for me. My dad ain't around. I don't want to be there. I don't want my kid to feel like I felt. You dig what I'm saying? So I tried, I guess I don't know if it was subconscious or how it happened, but my mindset said, don't be like that.
Well, I just want to give you your flowers while you're here. I mean, you led us to play flag football. That ain't shit, but it was shit to us. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
I don't listen well. I'm all of that. You know what I mean? But, Chief would be like, all right, nigga, calm down. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I done kept you out of a bunch of fights, nigga.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? So you not only with your kids, but with men. And I think, like Alex said, somebody's going to be in charge. Doesn't mean the other one's necessarily not alpha at all. You know what I'm saying? But in that instance, we look to you to do a lot of shit. I remember I was broke. I don't know why the fuck I was broke. Oh, drinking too much Hennessy and I wanted to drink Incredible Hulk and shit. So I had both, but I didn't have enough money at that time. This was back in 2011. And I'm like, Chief, I need $25 to pay for this bag to get on this plane. That nigga Chief was paid at least $1,000 because everybody needed some bread.
but I don't know. I just thought about this. So double back though. Like I think in the football essence, like I was just as angry as you were. You know what I'm saying? But I think, I don't know, somewhere along the lines, I just knew how to channel that shit in terms of like keeping us out of trouble and whatnot. There's been plenty of times I wanted to body slam a nigga, but it was like, that ain't the way. You know what I'm saying? That ain't the way to go. So I think, to Mary's point, like, when you want to spaz, sometimes you got to be able to control that shit. And I think that's, I don't know where the hell it came from. But
and then everybody else spaz, and you're like, all right, well, let me be, you know what I mean? At least I could chill. Right. Shout out to Bub. So, Ro, what do you think? What do you think happened? So, my small example, Chief's example, I think even Alex, just me knowing her. Do you think that most people flip it positive, or you think it goes the other way most times?
I think if you're self-aware, then you will flip it positive. I'll just a little bit of background. I actually am your third daddy's girl type. I was raised by my father, a single man.
Okay.
Of 4 kids.
You
So
can't remember?
I'm the oldest of everybody.
Oh, all right.
So my father taught us to be self-sufficient. 2 girls, 2 boys. So when I got married, I was acting in a self-sufficient way. I was not acting in a way where I was the wife and he was the husband.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, my father's military. So the structure, the do it this way, it's the right way. All of that was good in a sense when it comes to work, but when it comes into personal relationships, I had to flip it, particularly with my children. I can give them structure, but I need to teach them how to communicate. My father wasn't a communicator. He was just a doer. He was a worker, because that's what the military teaches them. So I think for myself, just dealing with different traumatic situations, being the oldest child, the girl child, I had to deal with some things that my siblings didn't have to deal with. So at the same time, for my kids, I had to make sure that I flipped it in a positive way once I acknowledged what was bad and leave the bad stuff and flip it and take the good things like the structuring and teaching them about education. But at the same time, I have to teach them also how to be human beings, and that their thoughts matter, their feelings matter, because I didn't get that as a kid.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just curious. So when you say your dad raised you to be like an independent woman, so yes or no, you think that showed up more in your relationship as a negative thing in your marriage? I don't know if you're still married or whatever.
I'm divorced. So for my marriage, it was a bad thing, because we were raised in basically the most extreme situations. He was raised by his grandparents because his mom and dad were divorced and wasn't around. And then I was raised on the other extreme where I was structured walking like a soldier. So
now, in your husband, your is current or ex-husband?
Ex-husband.
Okay, in your ex-husband, did he have characteristics of your father?
Now that I look back, yes. Meaning to the point of not the aggressive, but he was more passive. He was the type of husband like SGL was talking about, where he would allow me to lead and be okay with that.
But he wasn't, though.
But he wasn't.
Okay. Damn, that's all right. Hold that, Ro. That was great. Because now that's like a different flip too. It's like a B-. Like you passed and it was good, but then there was a lot of things we could have done, like changed, I guess. Love, what's your thoughts on it?
I'm congested, but yes, parent trauma does affect your own relationships. It has showed up in my life, and I didn't realize that first, and I saw some things that occurred in my parents, and I said I would never do it, but I ended up doing it and manifesting it into my life. And so therefore, when I acknowledged it and saw it, because I kept seeing these patterns of my own behavior that I did not like, that's when I sought out the help and the healing and the tools and the therapy to address those issues.
Yeah. Word. Q, what you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna say absolutely. I'm dealing with right now. You know, just with the toxic environment that I grew up in, but some of the things that my stepdad dealt with from his childhood came over into my childhood and the childhood of my siblings. And, you know, with relationship being such a eye opener as to unhealed areas in your life, a lot has been exposed as to how that parent trauma has had an effect on me. Everything, like down to the alcoholism, you know what I mean? Like just always making sure that I have some level of control. I never wanted to be that person to drink and get like an addiction to it or anything like that. Or, you know, smoking in my house, things like that. Like nothing that he did. It's all just like trying to break those generational curses like Racine was talking about.
Damn, you know what's crazy? And I get some final thoughts from Devin and SGL. You know, with this panel is small, right? But based on what is being said here, and I believe every single thing that everybody said, it sounds like a lot of people overcame and thought differently from those traumas, right? It leads me to believe that a lot of like what we hear to Q, I think Q says this a lot in different ways. It's like propaganda. Like it's like what's actually happening around you, or is it what we see on TV that's the truth? You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to say that out loud. Let me get some quick final thoughts on this topic so we can approach the last 1.5 topics. SGL and Devin.
Yeah, I would say yeah, trauma definitely exists, and it does affect particularly how your parents parent you. I would say for men and young boys in particular, like, you know, in my case, it's like your mother trying to create you to be a particular type of man because of whatever issues she had with your father, you know. And then what I see in other young men is mothers who have like this maybe like visceral like anger for the fathers, and they kind of take that out on the son. So it's like an early emasculate. Like honestly, if I'm gonna go ahead and say it, like a lot of times our mothers are the first one to emasculate us as black men, without even realizing it. And that trauma trickled down and how you know, what we're seeing in the boys, and how they're reacting towards, you know, each other and towards women.
Or yeah. I think I agree. Devin, quick final thought on this.
What I think is, I look at my dad's trauma. You know what I'm saying? Losing my grandmother really young. My grandfather wasn't really around and wasn't available to him in the way that he needed him as a man to be, like as an emotional maturity standpoint. So like when he had me, I just moved how he moved, and he was raising me from a space that he could only go as far as the man before him took him. So, and then my mom like drinking and stuff like that. That was in my house. So I had an avoidance to drinking, but then as I got older, it became a problem. So not only do I deal with like the bad temper stuff I seen going on in the crib, and then the drinking, that started to inhabit with me, and I started to recognize that. And then me also being a man of God, like I had to make a choice. Somebody has to make the choice to be like, yo, it's got to die with me. It can't go, because I refuse to let it touch these babies. You know what I mean? So that's why I get into therapy and stuff like that is important. But we grew up in the era where your uncles and them would be like, call you soft, whatever. Like, we don't do that. That's white people. We don't do none of that. But like, we're starting to see now that as a people, this is something that needs to be essential. Not even just because just getting into a relationship, but just being better self-aware of yourself. Because when you're better adjusted, you raise better adjusted human beings, and they go up and do the same. So people want to change society, change home first. Because I guarantee when you start setting stuff right inside the house, instead of a certain type of energy in the crib, especially with your kids, it's gonna proliferate outside, because they're gonna take that with them. Because when they go outside, they know, yo, I represent my mom and dad. I was representing my mom and dad, but I was representing the worst parts of them, because that's what I was seeing.
Yeah.
Now, when they put their best part out as they got older and grew and mature, that's what I was bringing out to the world. So it's just sad. We have parents that nobody taught them how to heal.
Devin, you be making a lot of good points. You got to land on one so we can consume it.
And put the baby's bottle in his mouth. You want that bottle? You said
let the baby eat. But nah, that shit is real though. At one point, I want to bring out that you said is you could take it either way, which I think you said it and we described it with the examples. You could take the worst parts or the best parts. You have to make a choice at a point. You know what I'm saying? I think some of it is innate and you got to fight it every day. But at a point, you have to make a choice. Hey, man, shout out to y'all. And that shit was dope.
Appreciate y'all.
All right. So we had an argument. I'm going to call it just that on the podcast where motherfuckers was saying, yeah, I think it was Ro, if I'm not mistaken, Adrian. Yo, you got to catch wild bodies so you know how you like to have sex, this, that, and the third. Don't stick with one nigga. You know what I mean? Wait, you know. So, and I'm like, yo,
whoa.
She definitely said wild bodies. I don't know what else she said, but she definitely said that part. And then I said, no, as a woman, you want to catch her while she's young to keep the virtue, this, that, and the third, so on and so forth. You don't want her to have a bunch of experience, right? So my question is experience the best teacher pertaining to relationship?
Yes. Yes, it does.
So you said that catch wild bodies, right? So you know.
I didn't say catch wild bodies. I said what I said was you need to know your body to know what you want when you get in a marriage. Okay. A man can only, if you get married and you're a virgin and your husband is well experienced, he's only giving you what he knows. He's not giving you what you like or what you know about your body. So I did not say that you got to go sleep with 1,000 men. I said you need to know your body and have experience. That is what I said.
Okay.
However you get that experience, it could be you sleep with one person, two people, or not at all. You just know how to satisfy yourself.
Masturbate.
Exactly.
You know what I wish? That you guys be making fire points and then you go again. Like, let that shit land. God damn, you had Devin nodding and all that. Then you said some other weak shit. All right, Mr. White.
Yo, that is the dumbest shit I ever heard, yo. Listen, y'all do not listen to her, yo. Don't listen to none nigga. So much comes with giving a man access to y'all. So much comes from that. Things that you don't even realize. You know what I'm saying? Like you literally are letting somebody inside of you. And the thing about sex is we make it all about pleasure. When you really love somebody and you can connect with somebody outside of that thing, it's totally different. Totally different. Y'all have no idea the impact and the things that y'all take in.
I did not say that a female had to sleep with multiple men. I did not say that. I said it is up to your experience. It could be one man. It could be 5. It could be 10. It could just be yourself. Teaching
100.
Right. Learning how to satisfy yourself.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Is it the same thing for a woman who sleeps with one person versus a woman who sleeps with 100?
It could be, it depends. Because if that
I'm asking you, in your eyes, what do you think? Is it the same as 1 versus 100?
Is it the same? As far yes. Because you could be with one man. You could be with one man for 20 years and only experienced him, and that's all you know. Mm-hmm. And so when you leave that 20 years, then you're going to move on and you're going to use what you know, right?
Right. But do you recommend that, though, is what I'm saying? Do you feel like there's no consequences? Hold on. Because you talking before you listening, y'all. Do you think that the consequences or the negative, right, between sleeping with one person and sleeping with 100 is the same?
No, I don't. Okay. I think it's your experience. Because your one might be the freakiest man ever. He might want to tie you up and slap you and all this other kind of stuff. It could be that he wants to make love to you every time y'all make love. It could be that for just one person.
But then you attach to the niggas. Listen, you do not need it, women, ladies, my beautiful women who have not given it away yet. You don't need to sample nothing out there. Don't listen to what these women are talking about. work on yourself, find you a black man that can lead you, and because he's able to do that, no matter, y'all will figure it out. He will be able to take you to levels nobody else can. If you go around here experiencing and you got a nigga who gonna dick you down the right way, now you're stuck with this nigga all because you out here trying to sample it. Now you stuck. You hear women all the time, oh, he ain't ish, but dang, he be laying it down. And they stay in that cycle. Why put yourself in that situation?
So who up here had a virgin when they got, who up here married to a virgin?
Nobody.
Oh, okay. And so
that does not make a point.
But I'm not finished my point yet, Ham.
Well, no,
Okay.
I was about to call on Mary. So
go ahead, Mary. I apologize, but I just wanted to get that question. But I had further points to make, Ham. But
I got you. But I just wanted to. I let you get the question out, and I answered. Cross-eyed ass. All right, Mary.
So I do.
No, Mary. I don't want to hear that. I want to ask you a question.
All right, go ahead.
God damn it. See, when niggas start looking like Lil' Kim, they be acting brand new, man. I can't
Don't start your shit. Don't start your shit.
I used to be scared of the. So listen, if you could do it all over, and you had a choice, would you wait for your husband? Yeah, stump. Adrian, put him in the bathroom for her.
Wow.
If I didn't, yes, it may look good, but I don't think if I didn't experience the things that I did, I'd be able to handle the type of man he is.
Okay, so if you could do it over, right, and you had a choice, would you wait for your husband?
Can't handle the truth.
We want answers.
No. If he was the only person, no, hell no.
Okay,
shit like that.
That nigga work.
I got one small question.
Hold on, A, because I had to be fair. I ain't let love just jump in. Alex. Look, she's smiling like a motherfucking nervous ass nigga. Alex. If you had to do it all over and you could have a choice, would you wait for your husband?
No.
Shit like that.
If the end result is always going to be him, absolutely.
I wouldn't appreciate who he is without my experience. Right. I wouldn't appreciate it. So you gotta. We got you. We don't gotta clean it up now. I'm gonna click it so that they don't hear that part. So sorry. All right. That should be set up every time. Clarification.
Now, can you guys please show some decorum, like Chief, SGL, and Devin are on the bottom row, please? Thank you. Love. Look, they sitting there silent. I had to mute Devin's mic, but I ain't gonna say nothing about that. So now the baby kicking his ass. So, Love. What were you gonna say? Then let me get Adrian gonna answer this question. Go ahead.
What Adrian said sound real good. It sound cute. It sound real therapeutic like.
Wow.
And I appreciate the words, but where were you that man that was sitting there before you got, I know you just got married, but before, I think you're married before that too. But were you that man that's saying, no, sis, save yourself. I don't want to do it to you now. I don't want these cheeks now. I want you to love yourself. I want you to preserve yourself. And this is a spiritual act. I want us to go to the next plane. Did you say all that shit when you were sitting there busting girls down every single night, different ones every night, while you sitting there slinging dick for years? Were you doing that? No, you weren't. So you sound real hypocritical and you capping right now, but it sounds cute.
So I can respond though. It's not me, right? So
yeah, go ahead.
It's not me being hypocritical because I was wrong for it. So I'm not saying I was right when I.
Did you apologize to those women? Did you apologize?
No,
to those
I don't
women?
know where they at. Who
it was that. You don't know who they were. You remember their names. So you just sitting there just busting it wide open, dropping a little, busting it open. Like That right there. So you have
as I got
soul
older
out in society, just around this world, piece of your soul, all these soul ties you got. Did you call your piece of your soul back together? Because you really should. Because it sounded like you was slinging dick a lot.
Well, I don't think I need to go back and do that, right? I mean, it happened, but it was wrong, and was a nigga who was gonna take advantage of the situation. You know what I'm saying? But to somebody posted in the chat, would you have waited? If I could go back, absolutely. I know other niggas might not agree, but I promise you, I wish I had way fucking better dick discipline. Do you know what my life would be like?
But
you know what I'm saying? And hold on.
Damn.
And if I could have been a virgin like with my wife, that would have changed the game versus all of the other things I literally had to focus and let go of because she wasn't like that. Like like soul ties and things you get used to and the way you seem to get satisfaction. Do you know how many couples struggle with sex because of their previous partners? That stuff is real, y'all. So I'm not gonna sit here and say, yeah, hey, just because I took advantage of the situation and ran into some Jones, you know what I mean? Had to get one off. So now not tell y'all the truth. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth, y'all. I wish I had the character and was this to the type of man to when I wouldn't and I value my seed as much as I do now. But I'm telling y'all.
So did you just get this character 6 months ago when you got married? How long you been married?
Absolutely. That's when it switched over for me.
So like a light switch? I'm just trying to figure out the timeline, child, because you got married, what, 6 to 9 months ago, right?
Something like that.
Okay. If you did meet her before, you wouldn't have appreciated what she is to you now, is my objective.
But my question I
wouldn't want to have met him first.
No.
The question I have, Adrian, is that you flip it like a light switch or not? When you met her we'll say 6 months, keep it even number, 6 months ago. When you met her 6 months ago, were you prepping for her? Or you literally just sat there and went cold turkey, someone flipped this switch off, off position?
I was prepping like crazy. The prep was so real. The prep is real.
And what that prep look like?
Shit, the prep looked like me working on being disciplined before I got her here. You know what I'm saying? And everything, discipline in my spending, discipline where I'm going, understanding that, okay, you're not about to have alone time no more. So what that's going to look like? Okay, you're going to have her daughters around you more than you're going to have your own. What is that going to look like? Right? What is the sex and the intimacy going to look like on a regular basis? What is it going to look like when now you got to work more because now you got 3 more people to provide for in your home?
I was talking about when you were dating. I'm sorry. I meant when you were dating. Like when you met her is when you stopped your ways. You flip the switch off when you met her, not necessarily married, but when you met her, did you flip that switch then? Or did it take some time for you to prep and flip the switch?
I flipped it when I knew I was going to marry her.
So were you still dating other women when you were dating her too? And initially?
Well, yeah, she know the truth, so yeah. I mean, not necessarily dating, like I wasn't trying to be with nobody, but
you were sleeping with different women, though.
I mean, from time to time.
Listen, I'm just asking. I'm sorry.
Yeah, what's the point of it, though? What are you trying to
do? Because this thought pattern that he has now, and this righteous thought pattern, which is very applaudable. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out when it happened, when you met her, or after.
But why though? Why?
I'm just trying to figure out because he's very saying, I wish I'd have changed. I wish I'd have done this before. So you realize that after you met her, you said I'm gonna marry her, or when you first met her? When did that happen? Like I wish I'd have waited and been a virgin. Adrian,
so the question is, love, like Adrian, did your wife provoke that, or you had an epiphany before you met her? Like, damn, I wish I wouldn't have caught all these bodies. Or when you met her, was it like, oh shit, if I would have had this forever, then I would have been good?
No, so it was myself, and that act, the thought-provoking piece happened prior to me even meeting her. It was just consequences. You know what I'm saying? Like him say, we got to go through shit. Niggas learn the hard way. So after a while, you sit back and you look at your own decisions that is putting you to the places where you was at. It's like, damn, I need to be better.
That's the same thing Mary and I said. You have to go through experiences to even appreciate what you have.
But not sex.
No,
it doesn't have to be sex.
Totally different.
I never said sex.
So let me I want to chime in, then I get a couple of cats on the top. I think he's absolutely correct. So I can't do it over, but I do have a son. So with my son, I can instill different values than what were instilled in us. we got a lot of clout from getting clapping wild cheeks, right? But if I can tell him being intentional about this, because you won't miss it if you never had it, even if you pondering, they got Pornhub for that, right? But pour into that woman, and I think you'll be better off that way. So I completely disagree, right? My wife get on my nerves. There's times where I'm like, this nigga, right? But then, you know, there's times where I'm like, oh, this, I understand why I did this, so on and so forth. So if I could rewind in a hypothetical, I would rather just do that, because to Adrian's point, you get desensitized so much. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to fight urges every day. And I think that that's the things that we got to understand, because you do reminisce. I mean, it just is what it is. So why not avoid that if you can find the person you're supposed to be with? That just seems to make logical sense to me. Glenn, what you think?
I mean, that's a good point. I think, yeah, especially as like for young men, like the 20s to 30, that's when we have the least amount of dick discipline, right? So, but that's also when we have the most amount of like energy to build ourselves, you know, for the next phase of life. And so I would think as a wise man or a mature man, I agree with advising young men to be that way and protecting your seed, right? And this is where we talk about responsibility and accountability for men. And I'm okay with that, because it's like, you know, we can't get blamed by the sisters if we have more respect in protecting and having discipline over our seed, you know, essentially, because that's just your value. That's life itself, you know. Yes.
Glenn, let me hop in. Asia, are you green? Love, are you green?
About protecting your seed, yes.
Are you also a proponent of sexual liberation?
Yes. Yes, I am. The sexual liberation is not.
I just wanted to ask a question. I just wanted to ask a question.
Playing with toys.
Because I feel like when you was asking Adrian, right? So you know, let's let it marinate. Let's let the people.
No, we ain't gotta let it marinate. No, we ain't gonna marinate.
Yeah, we'll come back. I just wanted to ask a quick.
I am a proponent of sexual liberation. Sexual
Yeah.
liberation
All right,
is how
cool.
I dress, feeling all of my sexuality.
I knew the spin was coming. I just wanted to hear you answer the question.
No, let me answer. Well, let me answer without interrupting me, please.
No, because here's what happens. You pause for a second to answer.
I want to make sure my thoughts
are clear. You knew what I was asking, and now you're gonna start talking about clothing and some other shit. Like, let's just stand on what we stand.
If you let me talk, I will.
Chief.
Are you gonna ask me?
Wasn't you in Asia? It was a yes or no. Now, Chief,
nope.
Weren't you in Asia up here talking about y'all had to stand 10 toes on something one day?
And I'm standing 10 toes down on sexual liberation.
You don't have to qualify it. You don't have to qualify it.
I'm defining what sexual liberation is. Well, I'm trying to explain it, but I keep on getting cut off.
What does what mean, Glenn?
Sexual liberation.
Okay. I'm glad y'all asked. Thank you.
I believe y'all niggas just open that fucking.
No. But she already hit us with the.
Wait, no. You asked me the question, SBL, Sir Glenn.
Go ahead, love. This nigga just fucking. Go ahead.
Sexual liberation includes owning your sexuality as a woman. No handing off camera. He's like, she gets on my nerves. Owning your sexuality as a woman. Not feeling bad or having negative self-image about your body. Feeling good within your body. That means using toys. If you feel sexual, you can use toys to make sure you know what you like sexually and not feeling bad about it. If you want to, you are gaslighting. You are triggering.
I just put a cap on. I just put a cap on.
Also, a part of that sexual liberation is talking freely about sex. So I can talk freely with sex, to men and to women. Those things are part of sexual liberation. Not sleeping around.
Okay.
I'm glad you asked, though. Appreciate it.
I'm so mad at him. Go ahead.
As much as we can empathize with your definition of sexual liberation, not a single person in this panel thought of it that way. Not one person goes,
that's why I defined it.
I was like, is that even important?
That's why I had to define it, because y'all didn't think about it. So I had to define it. When I sat there and said, I believe in sexual liberation, this is what I believe in as sexual liberation. This is why I believe it.
Why is it important?
So
why is it important?
You said, why is it important?
Well, hold on, Chief. Do your follow up, and then.
I just felt like she was like she put a heavy undertone behind sexual liberation, but was trying to chew Mr. White out for doing what he did. You know what I'm saying? So why can't he be sexually liberal? You know what I'm saying? But
the reason I wasn't chewing him out. What I was saying to him, I said what he said sounded very self-right. I didn't chew him out.
Q, say something. Q, you yell at me all the time.
What I was saying was he sounded great, but how long ago did he stop slinging dick?
That has no relevance to him being a committed married man with new goals and morals now.
That is somebody's daughter, somebody's sister. He sat there and said, protect yourself, queens, sis, you're valuable. Sex is not just
why is it mutually exclusive though? Why is
I was referring to that.
He's also repeatedly said in the past, he told him what it was off the rip. They knew what it was, and he stood firm in what he was. He stood firm in what he was doing.
I'm referring to what happened tonight. Now, what happened? He said before tonight. Show me the transcript. I'll address that. I'm addressing what he said tonight.
I think what it is Mr. White try to comfort so many women on the panel from like what feels like a self-righteous perspective, but he kind of just got put on to shit or learned certain shit recently.
9 months ago. Thank you.
Yes, that is the energy. It has really nothing to do. You are right with what you said, Mr. White. I agree with you. I'm breaking down kind of the perspective because I done seen you go for like mad women on this panel. You go hard. You don't even talk to the niggas like that. But then it's like, oh, well, I kind of just came into this, but you speak as if it's like from like 30 years of knowledge. So I think that's kind of it's the energy.
I get the isn't it though? How old is he?
Right?
How old are you, bro? How many years of knowledge you got? How old are you?
Let Adrian respond. Let Adrian respond.
36.
Yeah. But I think
hold on.
Let him respond, please.
Thank you. So, I'm 36. I've been a therapist for about a decade. A lot of these things I'm not coming into the knowledge of. You're saying that I came for every woman on a panel. Let's talk about the things that I have talked about, right? Because that's what Q said. I come for y'all on a regular basis.
You know what? You don't have to defend it because then now you're stepping out of order. Like I'm giving you props. Don't step out of character. You don't have to address it. You're a man. Remember, this is all women on the panel.
So you're telling me that I shouldn't address that? That makes no sense.
That you're defending it. You don't got to defend it. You know what you know.
So don't explain myself. But that's what we're on a podcast. Like everybody does. Everybody gives their perspective. Everybody does all of these other things. And because I'm a man, I shouldn't say nothing.
No, it just gets weird at that point. You just come across very argumentative at that point.
You can't tell me how to be a man, Q. You can't do it. You can't
You're
do
right.
it.
Go ahead.
You can't tell me how to be a man. So I got this. I can't even talk.
Go ahead.
That's crazy. Okay.
Adrian, go ahead.
Don't let the gaslighting get you, bro.
All right.
Gaslighting.
Hold on. Let's break it down too. It goes back to I literally just gave facts about something, right? Regardless of how I acted before, I literally gave facts, and it turns into, oh, Adrian just now learned something. Isn't that kind of like a insult? When I didn't insult anyone here, I did throw some shade at Ro. You know what I'm saying, Ro? But you fired. Asia, when I was talking to you, everything I listed for the most part though was facts or an opinion. Nothing was attacking, because I sit here and I say women shouldn't do this or women shouldn't do that and preserve your bodies and things like that, right? But I'm talking crazy and reckless to y'all. Look at how reckless y'all talk to men up here, and not one of y'all can pick a time where I've been disrespectful to y'all, for real.
I think the biggest thing is the fact that people are looking at it as him being hypocritical. Not saying I'm agreeing with anything you say, Adrian, but what I'm saying is generally I feel like they're looking at it as you being hypocritical, when technically when it comes to something being hypocritical, it means that he's saying what he did was right, and if somebody else does it, it's wrong. Not once did Adrian say how I acted or what I did was right at all. So it's not him being a hypocrite. It's him stating what he hopes can get better, because he's experienced certain things. He not once said, oh, I'm right for what I did.
You landed it, Mary. Let it land.
Right, but so to Hamp's point, Adrian said he did what he did, and Love tried to vilify him, and then talk about how she's affirmative for sexual liberation.
Right.
She's affirmative. You know what I'm saying? So where's the balance in that? That's hypocritical.
So the balance is that he knew it when he's been a therapist for 10 years, right? And you knew he didn't learn these things. He out his own mouth, he sat there and said, I didn't just learn these things. So he knew them, but he didn't live them. So I was talking about not living what you knew was righteous and moral and the right thing. That's all I'm talking about, right?
Okay,
nobody really does. Nobody's perfect.
That's what I'm saying. None of y'all
asking about perfection. Ain't nobody talking about perfection. Now, this is all I'm stop talking. Nobody said about perfection.
No, I'm just saying nobody's perfect. So there's not anybody on this panel that hasn't known that they're gonna make a bad decision and has not done it. Everybody has an example where they're gonna make a bad decision and still continue to go with it. There's nobody on the panel that can tell me anything different, because that's life, that's experience, that's what you go through, that's how you're reacting. It's somebody doing something to you, whatever the case may be, revenge, things like that. Asia, have you ever made a decision to make a bad decision even though you know it was wrong in your life? Or do you just do stuff being naive and that's how you make the bad decision?
So first of all, I don't make naive decisions. That's something I don't do. I'm a grown woman. Okay. Who said I make bad decisions? Who said that?
You're telling me that you've never made a bad decision?
I didn't say that. But I don't make naive ass decisions currently. So have I made bad decisions before, but when I knew what was right, I stopped doing those things I knew they were right? No. I don't make decisions after I know what is right to do, and then I purposely do things that are wrong. No, I'm not doing that.
So never.
If I said, I'm telling you, I'm answering your question, and the answer is no. If I know the right thing to do, I am not going to do the wrong thing.
That's bullshit.
You can't tell me what it is because you don't know me.
I don't have
4 months ago. I'm about to sit there and come off this screen and stop talking. This is a ridiculous conversation.
You have not
even know me sit there and say what decisions I made in my life. You have no idea.
You're 40-something years old. You're 40-something years old. You cannot tell me you haven't made a bad decision in your life and been aware of what you're doing. Where the motherfucking hat at? Where the cap at? Because it's not, no. You're 40-something years old, experienced having a baby father, experienced having a husband, and you're telling me you haven't made a bad decision being aware of it, but still because that's what you felt comfortable doing, that's what you were gonna do? So you're fucking perfect? Absolutely not.
They say anything about being fucking perfect. I had a son when I was young. I haven't had any other kids after that. Because I'm not saying you sat there and said about I walked in, I opened the door up. But when I heard you sit there and say something about having a kid, I'm done with this conversation because you're capping for some nigga that could have answered his own freaking questions. You brought in naivete, you brought in perfection, things that need to be brought up.
I'm stating facts. Capping
So,
I'm stating facts.
Hold it.
When I mentioned that you
it better be quick because I'm not gonna listen that much longer.
When I mentioned that you were married, when I mentioned that you have a
don't.
baby father,
I wouldn't advise y'all to.
Life experience. I'm not mentioning that you made a bad decision to have your son. I'm saying that you've been through shit. That's what I'm saying. You've been through shit. You're 40-something years old, so you've had to have that time in your life. That's just what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we've all made consciously poor decisions. Nobody here is what's the word? Exonerated or whatever. I can't even think about it. But no, everybody has. Everybody has laid down. I'm gonna say everybody, and had sex out of condom with a person that you had no intentions for. Right? Like we've done that. I've done it. Never really had sex with a condom pop. You let it keep rotting. Whatever the case is, that's a bad decision consciously. That's something very superficial in today's society that we've done. And then you cross your fingers and hope for the best. That's light shit. That's just an example of a poor decision, especially if you don't plan to be with said person.
Nobody said I was perfect. So I don't know how that even came into the conversation about perfection. And this conversation went way fucking left than what it had to. It really did.
All because Adrian B needed people to agree with him. Look at that. A goddamn shame.
It's your fault, Adrian.
I'm saying it the wrong way. Nothing in me say that I agree with what he said.
No, but this is not even about being perfect. But I usually don't share non-super chats. But like Nina just listening, right? Shout out to Nina Angelina. She said, I think we've been all intentionally made bad decisions at one point in our lives.
That's what I said. Why?
And Mary. So what we just furthering the point. In Asia, when you say you don't make naive decisions, you're saying that you made poor decisions knowingly. And that's fine because that's what people do.
I never knew this was a bad decision. I made it. No, I don't go into saying I'm gonna make a bad decision right now. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So let me ask you a question.
So have I made bad decisions before in my life? I never.
Let me ask you a question. We taking dumb shots, right?
Okay.
If y'all never been here before, this is Cap, except for Chief, right? And you know that last fucking shot is it. You know it. And you sit there and get peer pressured, or I ain't gonna let this person drink me under the table, and that last shot put you in the bathroom. Y'all motherfuckers is you never did. That's a knowingly bad decision. And now you can't drive. You crawl into the car. You sleep on the steps outside. You land like this. This shit happens to people.
It does
You
happen.
fucked up. You wake up. You don't know how you got home. You parked in the driveway. You praise the Most High. Get the fuck out. That's a poor decision knowingly.
I'm not saying I never made a bad decision. No time did I say that. I was talking to Adrian about. I'm kind of going through the same thing what I was talking about. I was talking about the energy, what he was saying, and how long did it take for him to realize that. I was talking about that. Then it came back to fucking you never made bad decisions before, you judging da. We all up on this podcast sit there and talk shit and judge and go and just sit there and just talk out of our asses sometimes. So miss me like I'm the only one that has sat there and said anything like that before. This is what we have done. This is what we do. We're gonna do it again next week.
I don't know what you're talking about. Have you made a knowingly bad decision?
Y'all did. I'm just saying it went left and it came at me at my neck and I reacted. And I shouldn't have reacted the way I reacted. So yes, that was a bad decision.
Ask that question again.
Got the best of me and made a bad decision. I held myself accountable because I got annoyed and irritated.
So let me ask you a question. Have you knowingly made a bad decision?
Did I know what I was doing? I let my anger take control in that moment because I didn't like how it was going, like how I was being spoken to. So did I purposely make that decision? No, I let the other side of me take control.
Kim, can you ask the question again, please?
Asia, question. Have you knowingly made a bad decision? Look at Alex. Alex getting yelled at. Told you. I'll be knowing 11:05. Alex gotta get up out of here. All right, so we've all knowingly made a bad decision. I think there's a lot of gems that have been dropped. Shout out to the panel. That means I focus clap.
You ain't like my claps. I ain't playing this shit no more.
Like a waterfall. Man, that shit was interesting, man. This shit was dope.
Yo, Asia laugh?
Wow.
I didn't even do nothing.
That's the classic line for a nigga who did some shit.
You definitely did some shit, nigga.
No, I asked a question.
All of
You
y'all.
did.
What are you talking about? Not all of y'all, but anybody who spoke. All y'all. She
Hey,
come
Q.
talking about she villainized.
Did she not though?
She didn't.
Q.
She
did not. She held him accountable.
She did not. If you guys play it back, and then when I said what I said, you guys listened very poorly and then responded to that. I said Adrian said some powerful shit.
Mm-hmm.
He said a lot of good shit. All of that got dismissed, and the only thing he held on to and responded to was all the things he didn't like to hear. But so that was like the catalyst that set it off, and then y'all defended.
No, you cut him off, and then it went off the rails when you started telling him about himself. It went off the rails.
My thing was him being.
Hold on, Mary.
The only issue.
Hold on.
Watch the playback.
Watch
the playback.
The hypocrite was the only thing.
So Mary was addressing the hypocrite stuff, and then Q, while Adrian was responding, you interjected while he was talking.
to tell him that it wasn't necessary for him to defend himself.
No, but then you said like, and then he said all about you don't have to tell him how to be a man and shit like that. Everybody got to take some accountability for if you interject inappropriately, you can also be a catalyst for something.
So bringing it full circle.
Yeah, but I'm talking about prior to that. So I get what you guys. That's what I'm saying. Is after that you guys then defended most of the stuff with him, because to your point, you're saying, oh, you cut him off, you did this, you did that. But prior to that, I was just expressing to him that it was his energy. It's not that he said anything foul or fucked up, but it was the energy that he came behind it as like very all-knowing. He didn't like to hear some of that, so he was responding to that, but it wasn't necessary because look what happened. Fucking
nothing happened.
But
I don't.
I was talking about Asia specifically. I wasn't talking about nothing you said. I was speaking specifically in regards to him being called a hypocrite.
Yeah, Mary, you weren't addressing what Q said. I
wasn't.
I felt like I only interjected right after Hamp asked about the sexual liberation thing, because that's hypocritical, is the way she came at Adrian for how she did, and she advocates for sexual liberation. So that's when I jumped in it. Like, and then when Mary was saying, asking like, have you made a poor decision knowingly? We all have. She stood firm in that she didn't. You know what I'm saying? She's not here to advocate for herself right now, but that's where I was coming from.
We all watch this back tomorrow, we could see where those little points, because I think everybody's saying something valid even right now, but I think we could see where we kind of all missed something and then it went left.
So Q, I think and we're gonna do the final thoughts, but I disagree. I don't think it's all mutually exclusive. I think that
mutually exclusive.
So I don't think that what you said and what Adrian said and what Mary said and what Chief said and what I said was a catalyst for it all. I think a lot of it was independent. Like Mary was addressing hypocrite. When I asked the question I asked, Chief expounded on that. You were telling Adrian, don't defend it, but you've been self-righteous, and now you want to tell us that you just learned.
That's where you're not listening. I never said.
So I'm just surmising. You say he came off as all-knowing, right?
Off that way, right?
Yeah, that's what I just said. So I said he came off as self-righteous, right? And so you're saying that's what I'm just saying, that all that's not all tied together necessarily is my point.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know you didn't say self-right. I understand what you were saying, just trying to surmise it real quick.
Yeah, so that's why I had to keep giving him his flowers, and I'm like, he probably gonna interpret that as I'm saying this is exactly what I'm saying. That's what it came across as, and that's probably how she was taking it. But you said some righteous shit.
No, he did. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and tell a friend. Hey, if you didn't know, this shit is called This Might Be Risky. So for once in your life, when you come up on this bitch, you gotta stand on something. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But if you want to have tough conversation and get some understanding, this is the place to be. If you agree with everything everybody says, you're in the wrong place. Point blank, period. You know what I'm saying? Right? And if it get hot, stay in the goddamn kitchen. Open the window. You know what I'm saying? I don't really like Jerry Springer, but I do fuck with one of his constructs. Bro, final thought.
Before you bring people into your life, learn about yourself, get your counseling so that you don't hurt people.
Word. Q?
Yeah, I just wanted to piggyback off of something that Rose said earlier, where she was talking about like sleeping with different people, but she also mentioned something powerful that I think went over a few people's heads, where she said even like experiencing yourself. I think it is important to have some type of experience outside of just going straight into your marriage. And so I do agree with that sentiment, which would be a complete disagreement with what Adrian was saying. I think possibly perhaps, but he can expound on that.
Word. Chief?
Got a couple points. First of all, to your black ass, this might be risky is dope, but what that first question or the dual questions, I think, sets us up for something. We can't pick a side when we got to answer both questions. So it kind of makes it like that first question, because it pertained to men and women. So those dual questions make it tough. Put one question on the bottom. Let us do that. You know what I'm saying? Because you put us in that bind on purpose, bro.
Yeah.
I messed with my man when he said you could only go as far as the man before you could take you, and I thought that was like powerful and to hear from me. we talked about a variety of different things, but one thing I wrote down was like, as much as it's important to, you know, to give our kids a thing we didn't have, it's more important to teach them things we didn't know. And lastly, I read a quote a while ago and it said, we expect our partners to come as a finished product while we give ourselves the grace to evolve. And I think that's something to Rose's point. Like, we need to be more open to everyone growing instead of expecting perfection from our people. We need to understand we're all in this phase of leveling up together.
Word. Mary?
I just want to let you guys know, when you are trying to break these generational curses, don't forget not to create new ones.
New blessings.
No, new curses.
Word.
And people tend to think that they're, you know, changing something in their past and they're creating something else.
Okay.
Like bitch ass little boys.
Gotcha. Word. Devin?
I say that I think the most binding principle we all need to hold on to, especially when it comes to things like this, is that you gotta leave with love, man. You have to. I think when you have that grounding principle, you'll allow people grace to be them, and you'll understand their experiences a lot better. And like the choices that come with certain things. You know what I mean? I like this. I like this realm. I like coming into this, and I see how you guys interact with each other. I've been watching for a while, and I like what I see, and I like it that we can have healthy dialogue with each other, and how it happens when we put the hot seat on, we ask for hot questions, and I think it's thought provoking, and I think we need more of that as a culture with each other. And I think we'll evolve out of that way. We have more conversations like this, it'll make a lot less harder conversations when you are with that person, when you do meet that person. You know?
Word.
Q? Did you go already?
I went already.
Oh shit. I thought you did. My bad.
You forgot about me, big dog.
I got you.
I know I'm new to this show. I would say, despite who hurt you, don't forget about the importance of relationships. Don't forget about the importance of family. That's the most important thing. That's the only way we're gonna have community. We all have to take accountability for that to make ourselves better, and we have to take family as valuable because this is how we build. So don't let your trauma destroy your opportunity to build the real wealth in life, right? Which is family, right?
Word. Mr. White?
First, I want to say shout out to Devin. It's clear you've been putting in the work, man, based off of how you said you were and the things that you touched on. And so, you know, I think you're a great example of somebody who goes to therapy, but also puts in the work to actively apply the things that he's learning. So I wanted to say shout out to you for that. You do have some women who are single because they're like, no, I just don't need to entertain nobody at this time because I have to get myself together. But the majority, 90% of women who say that are single because the man that they want don't want them. Trauma is real, as well as your perspectives is real, right? And so a lot of the things that somebody does in the present that we think bothers us is really not what they're doing. It's really our perception about what they're doing. And a lot of times it's based about us, the negative feelings that we have about ourselves. So do the inward work, the actual work that it takes to really see those things. Look at those triggers and look at yourself, which I know my girl Asia gonna do. Shout out to her. And yeah, man, it was great talking to y'all tonight.
Word.
Word. I think everything we go through is hard, man. And I think it sticks on us, especially in our subconscious. And I think all it takes is all you got. It ain't going to take 80%, 90%, 99%. It's going to take 100% of what you got to overcome and deal. And it's okay to get mad and frustrated and sad and get triggered, right? Because now you can identify it. If you don't experience it in terms of what can get you to a point of which you don't like yourself as much and which you regret your actions, then how will you overcome it? Right? All conversation, they ain't gonna be easy. It's gonna suck. And we up here for a real reason. Yes, entertainment, but at the same time, people are learning. If you look at the comments, I get inboxes all the time. People are learning, and we should be also. That's the key. We ain't up here just for entertainment. We should be consuming too. You know what I mean? Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend, and we out.